The following is a presentation of Radio Plus Sports.
Darting its way into the defense. He's still on its feet, moving to the end zone. Touchdown, Ledgers.
Radio Plus Sports. We're in the game.
Raditz with the tackle all over the field for the Fond du Lac Cardinals.
Radio Plus Sports, recognized by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association in their awards for excellence as the best in high school sports play-by-play in the state.
Now here's what we need.
40-yard line, 25, 20, down to the 10, down to the 5, he went down, touchdown! He's in for Springs, what a run!
High school games on air and video streaming live. This broadcast is sponsored by the following local partners.
Thank you to our video sponsors making this game possible: Moraine Park Technical College, Jackson Cole Insurance, Taco Bell, Summit Automotive, Cornelli's, Holiday Automotive, Kelly Doyle Family Dentistry, Silica, Sarawar Dentistry, the Webb Insurance Group, BCI Burke, Everson and Gibbs, National Exchange Bank and Trust, Hopper Silk Screen and All-Star Trophy, and Spectrum Call Center.
The complete broadcast schedule can be found at radioplusinfo.com. Let's go live to the Radio Plus Sports broadcast booth.
Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to Fruth Memorial Field here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin for this presentation of the high school football kickoff for the 2018 season. The summer is winding down, it's almost fall, and that means it's time for Friday Night Lights. I'm Nick Bodie, and you're watching Radio Plus Sports' broadcast of this fantastic game between the defending state champion St. Mary Springs Ledgers and the upstart Marcus Ann Hornets. This is a fantastic matchup that happened twice last year. Marcus Ann and St. Mary's opened their seasons against each other last August, and it was no contest. St. Mary's Springs won handily 35-0. However, when the teams met up later in the state semifinal for the right to go to the Division VI WIAA title game, the score was much closer. St. Mary's Springs edged out a close win, 21-9, against Marcus Ann. Since then, much has changed. Marcus Ann has switched coaches. They have a new man, John Dunleavy, who's bringing lots of change, installing a new wing T offense and switching up the defense from a 3-3 stack to a 3-4 base. Meanwhile, over at St. Mary Springs, nothing has changed in the last 46 years. They're still headed up by coaching legend Bob Highland, who won his 7th WIAA state championship last year. Highland ranks number 7 in the country as one of the winningest high school coaches in the United States of America. He's been running the same option offense for the last 46 years, and if it hasn't broke, he sure has not fixed it. This is much the same team he won the state championship with, a lot of returning starters, including quarterback Mitch Wechter. You can expect them to run the veer and be operating out of the flex mode offense as they always do. Meanwhile, John Dunleavy going to be mixing things up a little bit, converting his team after they lost their starting quarterback and 2 starting wide receivers last year. Expect them to go run heavy, rely on a veteran offensive line, and try to win this game in the trenches. This is set to be a fantastic matchup as Coach Dunleavy tries to see where his guys can measure up, taking on one of the true powerhouses in Wisconsin high school football. We'll be back right after this. You are watching high school football on the Radio Plus Sports Network.
No regrets.
If only she'd parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is seriously good insurance that treats you fairly and goes above and beyond to make you feel like your auto or home mishap never happened. At rates that'll save you as much as the other guys. So get a quote from Erie today.
Your local Erie agent is Jackson Call Insurance Services, 920-923-4020.
At Summit Automotive, we treat you like family.
We're right here off Highway 41 in Fond du Lac.
And we have one of the largest selections of vehicles.
That's right, over 400 to choose from.
At Summit Automotive.
New Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Rams.
And one of the largest used car and truck selections.
That means you can drive one home today.
We'll give you our best deal.
Our best value.
You have our word on it.
Come see us. We'll go
the extra mile for you.
At Summit Automotive, Fond du Lac.
The Marquesan State Bank, with locations in Marquesan, Randolph, and Main Street in Waupun. This is Kathy Schwant. We are the team that's large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. We are large enough to help with all of your banking needs, such as home loans, lines of credit, checking and savings accounts, health savings accounts, online banking with bill pay, mobile banking, and more. We are small enough to know you by name when you come into the bank. Log on to MarquesanStateBank.com. Good luck, teams, in your game today.
The Fond du Lac tradition of Bob's Pizza is making its way around town. The Cornelli team is making fresh-to-order baked pizzas at 13th and Main and the original location on Merrill Avenue. Fresh take and bake pizzas at all 3 Cornelli locations. Listen to this deal. Get 2 free 2-liter sodas with the purchase of the 2-for-1 take and bake Bob's Pizza. Get your gas, beverage, and get your pizza at all 3 Cornelli locations. 13th and Main, East Johnson, and North Fond du Lac. More options than ever to get a legendary Bob's Pizza. Call 922-6505 for delivery.
The hail sale is on at Holiday in Fond du Lac. Lock in hail sale price reductions on top of the season's best offers. Minor dings mean major savings, or we fix it fast. Lock in offers like up to 15% below MSRP on 2018 Chevy Silverado and Equinox, or up to 18% below MSRP on Buick Encore and Envision.
Come see us and discover the difference.
Shop the hail sale at Holiday Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC Fond du Lac.
It's worth the trip.
Dr. Kathy Doyle and her team realize that teamwork is the key to success. From the team at Doyle Kelly Family Dentistry, call 907-1400. That's 907-1400.
To feel good about your smile and your dentist, visit Sauer Dental. They are dedicated to personalized dental care. So for your family dental needs, visit Dr. Todd Sauer at 845 South Main Street in Fond du Lac.
Question: I want to get health insurance. What do I do? This is a common question that everyone will most undoubtedly ask at one point in his or her life. To find the answers, we looked at the average user's experience and came up with 4 tried and true, easy to follow steps. Step 1. Enter info into hundreds of websites. Step 2. Make numerous phone calls that ultimately get you nowhere. Step 3. Become insanely frustrated. Step 4. Try not to cry. Sound familiar? Like so many other Americans, this is what the average person is accustomed to. However, if you had called the Leb Insurance Group, where we genuinely listen to your needs, walk you through every step of the way, and offer options uniquely tailored to you, then you really didn't need to do steps 1 through 4. So, who is the Leb Insurance Group, you ask? Quite simply, we are a group of insurance enthusiasts that help you navigate through the complexities of the ever-changing landscape of healthcare plans. With that in mind, let's go back to the original question. I want to get health insurance. What do I do? Step 1. Call the Leb Insurance Group. That's it. We will assign you a dedicated agent who will help you sift through all the confusing insurance lingo and offer options uniquely tailored to you. Even if you have questions later on, you can always call your dedicated agent. Best of all, it won't cost you extra to use our services, but it could cost you a fortune not to. The Leb Insurance Group. Healthcare simplified.
Welcome back to Fruth Memorial Field here in the heart of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm Nick Bodie. You're tuned in to Radio Plus Sports' coverage of this fantastic high school football game as we kick off the 2018 season. We're just minutes away from seeing the defending state champion St. Mary's Springs Ledgers take on the Marquesan Hornets here in a rematch of last year's season opener for both teams. As I mentioned earlier, last year's first game was no contest, a 35-0 victory as St. Mary's Springs cruised to a 1-0 record. Meanwhile, Marquesan Hornets under new head coach John Dunleavy is looking to change that up in a big way. These two coaches could not be more different. As for St. Mary's Springs, we have Coach Bob Hyland, a legend in Wisconsin high school football who's been coaching since 1971, while John Dunleavy is in his first year, having taken over for Coach Travis Winkers, who left for Darlington in the spring. Talking to Coach Dunleavy, he said the team is excited to get started, if not a little bit anxious to be taking on such a powerhouse. He said, make no mistake, we know who we're playing. This is going to be a good challenge, and we want to see how we stack up against the big boys. He hopes to be able to elevate Marquesan to the elite level that St. Mary's Springs has been able to attain over the last 40 years, but he knows to be the man, you've got to beat the man. As for his goals on the season, Coach Dunleavy's hoping in his first year they can try to win the conference title again. They've done that the past 3 years. They made an undefeated run at the conference title, winning that last year. And he's hoping for today they can just go 1-0. The program made its deepest run into the state finals last year, making it all the way to the semifinals before losing to St. Mary Springs.
St. Mary Springs, Marcus Ann High School, and the WIAA.
We've got a fantastic game here. Meanwhile, Coach Bob Hyland said this is very much the same team that was able to beat Iola Scandinavia last November in the state championship last year. They won that game 35-12, winning their 7th Division VI title, which ties them one of only 4 teams in the state ever to win 7 state titles in the WIAA era. The team is very consistent. They're running the same offense, same system they've been doing for a long time. His coaching staff is much the same. And we will pause now for the national anthem as both teams take their stand.
Please watch over all competing today. Provide the players with the gifts of teamwork and team spirit. Help all of us to be mindful of displaying good sportsmanship at all times, keeping our comments positive and respectful. Help all of us to glorify you through this competition. We ask this in your name, amen. Tonight's national anthem will be sung by members of the Springs Cheer Squad.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glow, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And with that, we are ready to go here, folks. Ruth Memorial Field, the site for the kickoff of this fantastic matchup. A non-conference matchup here, as St. Mary Springs won the Flyway Conference last year. Marcus Ann High School, meanwhile, in the Trailways Large Conference, and both teams are favored by the Prep Football Preview to win their conference titles again. Marcus Ann won an outright Trailways Large Conference title, advancing to the state semifinals. And after a 35-0 running clock loss to the Ledgers at the start of the season, it was a much different game the second time around, with the Springs having to edge Marcus Ann out 21-9 in a much closer game. Talking to Coach John Dunleavy, he said his goals for the season include trying to make the playoffs, but for right now, he'd be happy to be able to beat one of the powerhouse programs in Wisconsin high school football. The program has been that way ever since Bob Hyland took over here, installing his famous Veer offense, which he learned at North Dakota State, where he won a national championship in 1969, also winning Conference Offensive Lineman of the Year. His offensive line is a good one. The starting lineup for St. Mary Springs: at left tackle, number 72, Jake Schrouth. At left guard, number 76, Mitch Burns. Center is Logan Ramaker, number 51. The right guard is Jacob Liso, number 74. Number 54, Jacob Kaufman, is the right tackle. The skill positions see many returners. Number 3, Mitch Wechter, the starting quarterback, who won the state championship last year. He had a receiving, rushing, and passing touchdown in that game. At fullback in the flexbone formation, number 35, Marcus Orlandoni. Number 36, Ezra Tucker, and number 22, Jake Barr, are the slot backs, with number 49, Jake Hawk, mixing in with them. Starting wide receiver is number 9, Cade Christensen. The 6'4 senior is a matchup nightmare in the passing game. Number 10, Joe Hanlon, and number 2, Matthew Moole, are the other 2 wide receivers. Both of them are seniors. The kicker is Levi Poss. Mitch Wechter, the quarterback, is also the starting punter and punt returner, along with number 8, David Mueller. The kick returners are number 36, Ezra Tucker, and number 10, Joe Hanlon. Meanwhile, offensively for the Marcus Ann Hornets at quarterback, number 32, Craig Plagans. Number 23, Tyler Lawson. Number 13, Josh Benning is the wide receiver, along with number 25, Zach Triggs. And the slot backs will be number 31, Max Stellmacher, and number 22, Bryce Zalke.
Officials for tonight's game, Stephen Benversi.
Both teams preparing to take the field here as the national anthem has commenced and the starting lineups have been announced.
Umpire is Wade Turner from New London. The referee is Galen Hill.
Tough non-conference matchup here for Marcus Ann, but that's exactly what head coach John Dunleavy says he wanted in his first game. He's got a new team, they're running a new offense, a new defense, and he wants to see where exactly they stack up with the elite programs in high school football. The Hornets, clad in white and blue, looking very much like a Penn State team, will be kicking off to start the game. Kicking the ball off and giving it first to the St. Mary's Springs offense. The Ledgers were deadly last year, although Marcus Ann was able to hold them to their second lowest point total of the season when these two teams met in the state semifinals on November 10th. Meanwhile, clad in royal blue, the St. Mary's Springs Ledgers, one of the elite teams, returning many of their starters. Keep in mind they won a state title game last year with just 8 seniors on the roster, so they have many returning starters. Big senior representation here on their offense. Senior quarterback Mitch Wechter is not only the quarterback, but also the punter, punt returner, and the starting safety on defense. He's got fantastic chemistry with his go-to man, number 9, Cade Christensen, the big wide receiver. As we are just about set, and it's a short kickoff. It's going to be fielded by the up back, who he's going to hurdle backwards, and that's given number 36, Ezra Tucker. The 6'1", 175-pound senior has it up to about the 40-yard line, where St. Mary's Springs will take over. Ledger's offense, of course, running the famed flexbone formation with 1 fullback, 2 slot backs, and 2 wide receivers, made famous at such schools as Georgia Tech and Navy and many other service academies over the years. It's a simple offense, but very difficult to defend, as John Dunleavy noted. Here comes Mitch Wechter. He's under center. Can expect an option run right off. No, he's going to be a pass. Fires out to Cade Christensen, and that first one is caught. It's going to be complete for about 8 yards, bringing up a second down. And looks like about 2 or 3. Max Stellmacher with the tackle there. The athletic number 31 also starts at slot back. And Coach John Dunleavy says he's a fantastic athlete who he's expecting to have a very big year for Marcus Ann. Wechter gives off the left side. That's number 36, Ezra Tucker, who had the kick return. He's got the first down and plenty more, down to about the Hornets' 40-yard line. Beautiful run there. And this power run is what Coach Bob Highland is all about. Send out number 10, Joe Hanlon, bringing a new wide receiver here. But they'll maintain the same flex formation. Number 35, the big fullback, Marcus Orlandoni, lined up behind Wechter. Meanwhile, and he's going to get the ball straight up the gut on the triple option. Oh, no! He even faked the announcer out. Oh, Mitch Wechter's got it on the quarterback keeper, and he's all the way in. A brilliant 41-yard score from the senior quarterback, and he gets his team on the board less than a minute into this game. Fantastic job on the option there. Even faked me out. That's what's so tricky about the triple option. Thought he was giving it up the gut there to number 35, Marcus Orlandoni, but he took off. And as you can see, number 3, Mitch Wechter, has some wheels. That's what makes him especially dangerous here as a quarterback. He's got that rare combination of speed, arm strength, and guts that it takes to run the option effectively. He's willing to take the hit, but there he was almost untouched, faked everybody out, and streaked down the field for a beautiful touchdown. Wechter now the holder here for the PAT. As kicker Levi Poss tries it. Oh, we got a flag on the play. But the PAT is good. See what the penalty is. Levi Poss, one of the shorter members of the team, standing just 5'7" and 155 pounds. But he's got quite a heavy leg, as he showed there. Go down to the field for the call from the officials. Looks like we have a false start marked off on St. Mary's Springs, so they'll be backed up and have to retry the PAT. So an early miscue here from the special teams of the Ledgers. And after such a fantastic opening offensive drive, couple of really nice run plays, and then quarterback Mitch Wechter took it all the way up the right hash mark in for the touchdown less than a minute into this game. Really, really fantastic efficiency, and Marcus Ann could be in trouble here early. The Ledgers now backed up here. The ball will be spotted at the 15-yard line for the point after. Levi Poss tries for his second. This one a little bit lower, but it's still good. And St. Mary's Springs goes up 7-0 early in this one, a shocker. And we are going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with the kickoff, and we'll see what the Markesan Hornets can do with their first offensive possession here on Radio Plus.
Come and grow with Burke. We are a company on the move and are looking for great people that want to grow with us. Hi, I'm Mike Phelan, President and CEO at Burke, a local company that creates quality and innovative playground equipment. Our team maintains a culture of enthusiasm, innovation, and customer service. We are currently looking for full-time first and third shift manufacturing employees. Burke offers a competitive wage and benefits package, on-the-job training, and a signing bonus. Learn more about our open positions at bciburke.com. That's bciburke.com.
Welcome back to Memorial Field here in Fond du Lac. After a very quick score by the St. Mary's Springs Ledgers, they are all set to kick off to the Markesan Hornets, who will take the ball for their first offensive drive of the season. Back deep to receive the kick, number 31, Max Stellmacher, and number 24, Christian Schwant. As the ball is lined up here by Levi Poss, number 5. Markesan signaling that they are ready here for the kickoff. And here's the boot. Going to be fielded at about the 10-yard line here. And finally brought down after a nice gain there around the 30-yard line. That is number 24 for the Markesan Hornets, Christian Schwant. And so now we see Markesan take the field here. Expect them to operate out of the wing T offense. That's what head coach John Dunleavy said they would be running this year. A lot of two-way starters on defense, meanwhile, for St. Mary's Springs. Quarterback Mitch Wechter, who we saw score the touchdown there, is their starting safety. Meanwhile, the quarterback for Markesan, number 32, Craig Plagans. Plagans lined up here behind center. He's going to send a man in motion, but he gives up the middle. And that's the big fullback able to rumble ahead for a couple yards there, and that's number 23, Tyler Lawson. And Jacob Orlandoni in on the tackle there. Marcus Orlandoni, sorry. The middle linebacker also starts at fullback, so tackling the man who plays his position for Markesan. 2nd down and 9 after a short gain here. Flexbone formation. Under center is Craig Plagans. As the offensive line here taking some keys here off the St. Mary's Springs defense. We have a whistle blown. It's like either a false start or somebody jumped off sides. Go down to the field for the call, see what the official thinks. And marching him backwards after it was a false start from the Markesan Hornets. Defensive starters here for St. Mary's Springs. We have number 49, Jake Hawkett, outside linebacker. The middle linebackers are number 9, Cade Christensen, number 35, Marcus Orlandoni. Flanking them, the other outside backer, Jake Kaufman, number 54. In the defensive backfield, number 22, Jake Barr, and number 7, Stephen Hepfner are the starting corners here. As Markesan will try another run up the gut here on 2nd and 14, and no dice. So this is going to be 3rd and long here for the Hornets. Elsewhere in the defensive backfield for St. Mary's Springs, number 3, Mitch Wechter, the quarterback who scored the opening touchdown, is the starting free safety. And number 36, Ezra Tucker, is the strong safety. They'll be backed up pretty far here on 3rd and 14. Out comes quarterback Craig Plagans. You'll expect him to have to throw here out of this usually run-heavy offense for the Hornets. Plagans lined up at his 25. And now he's going to give off the end, and with the ball there, that's number 31, Max Stellmacher, the wingback, but he's got no gains. That's going to be a quick 3 and out here. 4th down and 13. So instead of going for a deep pass, Coach Dunleavy plays it conservative, tries to run, see if he can pick up some yardage, but that is quickly collapsed on by the St. Mary's defense. St. Mary's sends Mitch Wechter back deep for the punt return, along with his partner in crime. That is number 36, Ezra Tucker, the slot back. Two of the speediest guys on the team, and only really on these old school option teams would you ever see a starting quarterback deep for a punt. He'll field it here. Will Wechter up the left sideline to the 40. Across the 50, he's got midfield. He's got a couple of blocks. They don't have him yet, and finally knocked out of bounds there. About the 35. Beautiful run back there by Mitch Wechter. He's got some serious wheels for a quarterback as they send on the offensive line and number 9, Big Cade Christensen, who is his favorite target in the passing game. Not hard to see why he favors throwing to number 9. Christensen, the senior, stands at 6'4", 210 pounds. Very tall for any division, but especially here in D6. Defensive starters for the Markesan Hornets. In the defensive backfield, Craig Plagans, Christian Schwant, and Adam Weber, along with Max Stellmacher and Zach Triggs. Along the defensive line, number 75, the big man, Joey Paddock. At nose tackle, Bryce Friday, number 50, and Dan Saylor, the defensive end. Knocked out of bounds here after a nice catch is Cade Christensen, the aforementioned go-to man for Wechter. And that'll be enough to move the chains. Wechter back in the huddle here, and this is not a hurry-up offense. Very, very old school as they set up on 1st down and 10. This flexbone option offense, they control the ball, power run game, and they like to get ahead and run the clock out. Bob Highland likes what his team has been able to do here so far. Got to be happy with it as Wechter gives across the right side. That's a handoff going to number 45, Jake Hawk, one of the bigger slot backs on the team. The junior stands at 6'3" and 190 pounds. He's able to rumble ahead there for a gain of a few. 2nd down now for St. Mary's Springs. 2nd down and 4 here, threatening again to score in the same end zone where Mitch Wechter was able to sprint in for the opening touchdown just 58 seconds into this game. Wechter now under center, behind him Orlandoni, and Orlandoni gets it up the middle, but he's going to be pushed back. Very nice job there in tackling by Adam Weber for the Hornets. And that's going to bring up 3rd and short here. Still managing to stay on schedule is St. Mary's Springs, and when you run an old school option run offense like this, you're okay with 3rd and short, as it's going to be 4 yards to go if they want to pick up the first and keep this drive alive. Cade Christensen, the wide receiver, to the bottom of your screen. Wechter drops back to pass. Not looking for Christensen, though. Looking left. That's going to be fired high and dropped in the back of the end zone. He was looking for 6 there, unable to get it. And we'll see as, yes, this will be the the field goal team heads on. Levi Poss for his first field goal of the game. A rare miss from senior quarterback Mitch Wechter there, who sailed it just a little bit high of his receiver. Looking for Jake Hook, who's a big target at 6'3". Lined up at the 12-yard line. This will be about a 27-yard attempt here for Levi Poss. Poss trying to put St. Mary's Springs ahead 10-0. And that one sails straight through the uprights. The field goal is good, and St. Mary's Springs takes the lead 10-0 here in the first quarter. 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. We'll keep it right here on Radio Plus as we discuss kind of the differences between these two teams. They have similar philosophies this year, but that wasn't the case last year when they met, when Markesan tried to employ a heavy passing offense, going up-tempo, running a lot of trick plays. They ran a fake punt-off for 38 yards when these two teams met in the semifinal. They ran hook and ladders. Looks like new coach John Dunleavy is being forced to play it a lot more carefully after losing his starting quarterback and 2,000-yard receivers from last year. He knows the strength on this team is the offensive line, and they are a big unit, led by number 50, Bryce Friday, number 53, Noah Mast, number 56, Jake Middlestat, the center, number 64, Joey Saylor, and number 75, Joey Paddock, the big tackle. Offensively, Craig Plagans, the quarterback, number 23, Tyler Lawson, the running back. The wide receivers and slot backs are rather interchangeable depending on the formation of the base here, but they're number 13, Josh Benning, number 25, Zach Triggs, number 31, the speedy Max Stellmacher, and number 22, Bryson Zalke. Levi Poss lines up to boot it here deep to the Hornets. Not a super deep kick, going to be fielded here at about the 15-yard line. And that's starting defensive back for the Hornets, Christian Schwant. And Schwant brought down around the 30-yard line or so. First down and 10 here for quarterback Craig Plagans. See if he can make something happen here. Unable to make much go on the last time. This is a very, very stout St. Mary's defense that returns a lot of starters in the secondary. A little bit thin along the defensive line, but they've got big Justin Ditter at nose tackle and Jake Schrouth, who won Defensive Lineman of the Year in their conference. He stands a brawny 6'4", 240 pounds. Sending a man in motion here, and he'll get the ball. That's Max Stellmacher. Stellmacher spinning, trying to get away, but he was caught in the backfield and unable to get away with a gain. As that'll bring up second down. And did they lose a yard, or will they give him 2nd and 10? Waiting for the official's measurement here. Looks like it is 2nd and 10. Nothing gained, nothing lost. And they want to stay out of these 2nd and long situations. St. Mary Springs has a good pass rush. You don't want to be trying to throw the ball against them on 3rd and long. So Marcus Ann will try to pick something up here. Quarterback Craig Plagans lines up here in the pistol. He's going to send a man in motion. That man will get the ball. That's number 25, Zach Triggs. Triggs, the slot back, stopped after almost no gain there. That's going to be another 3rd down and long for the Hornets. Beautiful job on the stop there by Jake Kaufman, number 54, the junior linebacker. He's a big man, 6'4", 195 pounds. So not a lot of beef, but a very tall frame, able to use his long arms there to get the stop and bring up 3rd down and 10. Not 1 yard gained here by the Hornets on this drive so far. See if they can get a couple. Craig Plagans needs 10 to stay alive. Plagans in the pistol formation. Nobody in motion. He's going to fire out quick, and that one's bobbled and ultimately dropped there by number 25, Zach Triggs. Short pass, interesting decision there when they had 3rd down and 10 to go, but Triggs, one of their speedy slot back types, and obviously their head coach believes they would be able to make it up there if he could get some rack yardage there, run after catch. And 4th down and 10, they are going to punt it here. Punter is Mueller. Meanwhile, deep to return for Marcus Ann is their starting quarterback, Mitch Wechter. And alongside him, his teammates, number 36, Ezra Tucker. He's going to go out of bounds. As St. Mary Springs will take over. They scored on their first 2 drives, an opening touchdown just 58 seconds into the game. And then a field goal there from kicker Levi Poss on the last drive. Just looking to stay ahead here. This is an offensive unit that had an excellent performance in the state title game last November as they won 35-12, rallying after they were initially down 12-9 against Iola Scandinavia. Mitch Wechter had a fantastic game in that one. He caught a touchdown pass, which was a throwback trick play thrown to him by his buddy Cade Christensen, and then threw 2 touchdown passes, one of them to Christensen. He threw a fade in the corner of the end zone at Camp Randall with just 2 seconds left. So these two very clearly trust each other. He overthrew Christensen earlier, but with just 2 seconds left on the clock, they wanted to score, get some momentum before going in at halftime, and Christensen told him, hey buddy, try me again, we got this. It all worked out. These two built up a tremendous amount of trust, and ultimately Mitch Wechter finished with a fantastic box score. He had a rushing, receiving, and passing touchdown in the state championship. Defense heads back out here onto the field for the Marcus Ann Hornets. John Dunleavy switching things up a little bit schematically. Previously they had been a 3-3 stack team running a base nickel formation, but now they're running 3-4. So they have some talented linebackers, although he ultimately thinks that his defensive line, anchored by Joey Paddock and Bryce Friday, are going to be the key to victory in this one. He says his team needs to win in the trenches. Pitch out to the left side. This is number 36, Ezra Tucker. And Tucker brought down after a nice gain, after about 3. That'll keep St. Mary's Springs on schedule. 2nd down and 5. Generous ball spot here from the referees. Mitch Wechter here on 2nd and 5 lines up the huddle. A lot of 2-way starters here for Marcus Ann Hornets as well. Common for these smaller schools as quarterback Craig Plagans is in the defensive backfield. Max Stellmacher, star slot backer, lined up at corner. Back to pass is Wechter. Wechter's going deep. He wants Christensen, and he's got it. Cade Christensen with a beautiful catch, laying out for it at the 20-yard line. Fantastic throw, and these two seniors really do have a wonderful connection. Mitch Wechter's pointing to his buddies, saying, heck yeah. And head coach Bob Hyland has got to be very happy with the way his offense has performed here so far. Meanwhile, developing into a nightmare scenario for the Marcus Ann Hornets on defense. They've given up big run plays and a huge pass there. Cade Christensen with a great catch there down to the 20-yard line. Christensen lined up top of your screen here, but he won't get the ball. It's going to be given off to Ezra Tucker. And the left side slot back there, able to rumble ahead for a few. No, that's not Tucker. They're rotating in some new slot backs, actually. As that is going to be number 7, Steve Hupner, the wide receiver. Bringing up 2nd down and 7 here for St. Mary's Springs. Wechter in the flexbone formation here. His slot backs Ezra Tucker. And he's going to pitch it out wide to Tucker. Tucker on the left side, got a few blocks. He picks up the 1st down and a couple yards more. Finally brought down at the 10-yard line here as St. Mary's Springs continues to work very effectively in the red zone. 1st down and goal here inside the 10-yard line at the 7. Knocking on the door here is St. Mary's Springs, already up 10-0 with 4.5 minutes left here in this first quarter. First game of the year, non-conference matchup for these two teams, a repeat of last year, which St. Mary's Springs took 35-0. They're looking to get up big here. Mitch Wechter fires out to the right. Christensen, he's got his man beat, but the ball just a little bit too high there, looking for Cade Christensen in the right corner of the end zone. Bring up 2nd down and goal here for Mitch Wechter. Tough to overthrow a big, tall target like Cade Christensen, but he had to make sure he got it over the head of the defensive back. Ultimately, that one sails a little bit wide. Number 2, Matthew Moole checks into the game. He's a senior wide receiver, standing 6'1", 165. See if they'll continue to show a passing set here, St. Mary's Springs. Springs coming out in the flexbone. Number 7, Steve Hupner, lined up at slot back, along with Ezra. Ezra comes, looks like we have a false start. Perhaps an offsides as both teams point at each other. Play was stopped dead as soon as Ezra Tucker came in motion out of the flexbone formation. And it is an offsides penalty against the Hornets. They're going to give up yardage here inside the 10. Very dangerous to do against an effective offense. You got to believe St. Mary's Springs with a good O-line and a fantastic power run game. If you give it to them inside the 5, they're pretty automatic to punch it in here on 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. Mitch Wechter under center here in the flexbone. Behind him, the big fullback Marcus Orlandoni. Ezra Tucker comes in motion. Tucker with the ball, left side, trying to pound it in, and the official signals touchdown. So a beautifully executed drive there from St. Mary's Springs. Handoff off the left side to Ezra Tucker, the slot back. The senior stands 6'1", 175, and he needed every pound of it to slam into the end zone there. So he's able to charge forward, put his team ahead 16-0. And kicker Levi Poss, the sophomore, standing 5'7", will come on in here and try to make it a 17-point lead and make it a 3-score game for St. Mary's Springs. Mitch Wechter, the holder. Poss makes it 2 for 2 here on the day with PATs, putting his team up 17-0. We'll take a quick break as St. Mary's Springs is off to a big lead early in this one, up 3 scores with 4 minutes and 11 seconds left. I'm Nick Bodie, and you're watching Division VI High School Football here on Radio Plus Sports.
Everson and Gibbs LLC Attorneys at Law provide you with all your legal needs, from corporate, business planning, personal injury, estate planning, and family law. Contact Everson and Gibbs today at 920-922-7113 for all your legal needs.
And we welcome you back here to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, where we are kicking off the 2018 high school football season in style, a matchup between two teams favored to win their conferences, the St. Mary's Springs Ledgers, defending state championships in Division VI, and the Marcus Ann Hornets, who have been able to who were able to claim an unbeaten conference title in the Trailways Large Conference last year. After a nice score by slotback Ezra Tucker and a completed extra point, St. Mary's Springs finds themselves up 3 scores, 17-0, with 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go here in this first quarter. They have jumped ahead to an early lead, and now they will boot it deep to the Hornets, who are looking to make something happen. Going to be fielded at the 10-yard line. Max Stellmacher, the speedy slotback, cuts up the middle. He's got a few blocks. Open field, able to get a juke on. And Stellmacher with a beautiful return there up to the 35-yard line. That might be the spark that his team needs to get something going. Coach John Dunleavy changing things up offensively, switching Markesan from being a pass-heavy team last year to a little bit more traditional run-heavy. Said they would include a lot of the same power back option sets that St. Mary Springs often uses, including a lot of option concepts here. Flex bone formation we've seen a lot, and some wing T concepts as well. Here is quarterback Craig Plagans comes out, number 32. The pistol formation. Trailing behind him, number 23, Tyler Lawson, the fullback. Spread formation, but he's going to give to Lawson. Lawson rumbles ahead for a few and brought down after he might have gained about 1. And it's going to be 2nd down and looks like 9. Nice job on the wrap-up there by Christensen, who is a two-way starter. Cade Christensen, 6'4", the starting wide receiver, also starts at middle linebacker here. There's Craig Plagans in the pistol formation. Calls for the snap, drops back to pass, going to look for a quick screen, fires one over the middle to Max Stellmacher. Stellmacher's still not down, but he's going to be down close to the 30-yard line, or down close to the 45-yard line, as it's going to be 3rd and short after a nice completion there from Craig Plagans. Plagans looked a little bit erratic on a couple passes early, but he seems to be settling in nicely here. His team down 17-0, but it is very early in this game. And this is an offense that's kind of an unknown entity. Coach Bob Highland said they didn't have a lot of returning starters, which makes them difficult to game plan for. See what they decide to go with on 3rd down and 2, showing a spread formation in the shotgun. Craig Plagans, he's going to give up the middle, and looks like with enough to pick up the 1st down, number 23, Tyler Lawson. And they will move the chains on that one. So short run there. Smart call from Marcus Ann, showing a spread look. 2x2 wide receiver set, lining up your quarterback in the pistol, spreading the defense out a little bit, and then running it straight up the gut. Checking into the game on the defensive line here is going to be Trent Schufner. Stands 6'2", 190. He's number 62 down there. Back in the flex bone formation, sending a man in motion. And that's going to be brought down for no gain there as the quarterback elected to keep it himself. Craig Plagans, not much going on. And you're going to take some shots like that as an option quarterback. He was brought down there by the big linebacker, Marcus Orlandoni. He is a load at 5'11", 210. Stocky and beefy, which is what you want in a fullback and linebacker. He, of course, one of many two-way players for St. Mary Springs. 2nd down and 9 here after almost no gain. Craig Plagans, number 32, in the pistol formation. 2x2 wide receiver set for the Hornets. Calls for the snap. He's going to give up the middle again. Number 23, Tyler Lawson. And he's not going to get much there. So that's going to be 3rd down and long yet again for the Hornets. Back way deep in coverage, the 2 safeties, Mitch Wechter and Ezra Tucker. They are teammates in the offensive and defensive backfields here. Lining up in the shotgun here, 2x2 wide receiver set, is Craig Plagans on 3rd down and 10. Needs to get it to the 43-yard line of St. Mary Springs to keep this one alive. He's going to give right side, and that's brought down for no gain there. Is number 25, that's Zach Triggs. Kaufman there with a nice tackle, and that's going to bring on the punt team yet again. That's a loss of 3 yards on the play, 4th down and 13. So electing to go conservative again here is Coach John Dunleavy, running it on 3rd down and long. See if he keeps with that strategy for the rest of the night. Oh, we got a bobbled snap here on the punt. Going to see if he can try to fall on it before the St. Mary Springs players are able to. And a disastrous play there on 4th down. It looked like a bad snap, sailed over their punter's head, and now St. Mary Springs will take over an excellent field position, 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. So already starting their drive on the red zone. This game looks like it could be getting out of hand very early. Back on the field already, Mitch Wechter, number 3, the quarterback. See if he can hook up with Cade Christensen for a touchdown, or he might elect to take it himself on another option run like he did for the first score of the game. Busted off about a 40-yard run there on a midline option play. Here he is in the flex bone formation. Behind him, Marcus Orlandoni. Ezra Tucker gonna come in. In motion. That's the other slot back. Play action pass. Wechter fires deep. Caught, and that's a touchdown to Cade Christensen, his money man. Number 9, standing 6'4", and he uses that big frame to go up and get the ball there. So one play touchdown drive, one play, one touchdown, 20 yards. Beautiful pass got there by number 9, Cade Christensen. And St. Mary's Springs now up 23-0 here. Still in the first quarter, 21 seconds left here in the opening quarter of this one. And Marcus Ann flirting with disaster here. This ball game is seeming like it's going to get away from him in a big way here. Again, this drive was set up by a miscue. A bad punt went over a bad snap went over their punter's head. Down to the 20-yard line here as the PAT is good, and that puts St. Mary's Springs up 24-0. Levi Poss 3 for 3 on PATs for the night. We're going to take a brief commercial break here as you are watching high school football on the Radio Plus Sports Network. St. Mary's Springs up 24-0 on Marcus Ann.
We're proud to be part of life's special milestones. National Exchange Bank and Trust is a locally owned independent bank with big bank abilities
and convenience for all our customers in the form of competitive market-driven banking products and solutions. Greater access with more locations and ATMs across southeastern Wisconsin. And quality customer care from familiar faces and friendly voices that you've come to know and trust.
National Exchange Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Welcome you back to Fruth Memorial Field here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm Nick Bodie, your host for this fantastic kickoff game between the St. Mary's Springs Ledgers and the Marcus Ann Hornets. The Hornets in trouble here early, down 24-0. First quarter's not even over yet, 21 seconds left, as St. Mary's Springs was able to capitalize off a special teams miscue. Marcus Ann snapped it over their punter's head. Punter was able to fall on the ball, but it was ultimately inside the red zone on their own 20-yard line. One play, one pass, one touchdown. Mitch Wechter connected with number 9, Cade Christensen. Desperately trying to get back in the game here are the Hornets as Max Stellmacher. Speedy slot back returns it to about the 38-yard line, where his offense will come out and take the field. Jackson Amond, number 23, the running back, stands 5'6", 124 pounds. So not extremely beefy, but this team relies more on quickness. Their real size is in the offensive line. Here in the pistol formation, number 32, Craig Plagans, the quarterback. As it looks like the officials will switch out the balls here. Sending it to the sideline, line up the 38-yard line. First down and 10, some of the best field position that Marcus Ann has had all game. They have yet to cross the 50-yard line. See if they can do it here out of the flexbone formation. Craig Plagans going to give up the middle and brought down for almost no gain there. Jackson Amond, number 23.
Plagans on the carry.
Oh, there's Craig Plagans, I'm sorry. Difficult to tell here as these white jerseys tend to mesh together in this option offense. Gain of only 1 yard though there. Second down and 9. As the quarter finally comes to a close, St. Mary's Springs up 24-0. We'll keep it right here on Radio Plus Sports. I'm Nick Bodie, and these are two teams that could not be more different. One team returning most of their starters from a squad that won the state championship last November under a coach who's been there for 47 years. Coach Bob Hyland, first coming to St. Mary's Springs after graduating North Dakota State, where he won a national title in 1969. First came to the school in 1971. Now, he did have a bit of an inauspicious start. The team was 1-15-2 in his first 2 years, but he quickly turned that around, and he has racked up more wins than any high school football coach in the state of Wisconsin. Indeed, he ranks 7th nationally for high school football coaches in wins. Hyland installed the option offense he learned at North Dakota State, where he was Offensive Lineman of the Year in 1969 as the Bison were able to claim a national title that year. Later becoming a D2 powerhouse. Of course, Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz attended North Dakota State recently, gaining them some fame. But Coach Bob Hyland bringing that offense, and he hasn't really changed it up very much since. Talking to him on the phone yesterday, he said he has players from those early 1970s teams who come and watch St. Mary Springs in the state title game, and they say, Coach, I can still call every play that you run. And he's not a guy who's trying to win on deception. He believes more in winning on execution, and that's the beauty of his flexbone option offense. He likes to make your team make the mistake, make the defense try to counter, and he's going to count on his guys to execute, be perfect, and hope for a mistake there from the offense, from the defense rather. Checking in at tailback, number 11, Caden Plagans. He's going to be behind Craig Plagans here. Pistol formation. Caden Plagans rumbles ahead for a gain of about 2. It's going to bring up 3rd down and medium.
Plagans on the carry.
So Craig Plagans to Caden Plagans.
3rd and 7.
3rd down and 7 now. See if they'll attempt a deep pass. They've handed the ball off here. Kind of an interesting decision early on in this game from St. Mary's, from Markesan rather. Markesan lines up in the flexbone formation. Plagans, with Plagans behind him. And Plagans going to give off the right side here with the ball, number 25, trying to make something happen, but unable to is Zach Triggs. So they hand it off yet again on 3rd down and long. Looks like they're committed on sticking to the run. You got to believe Craig Plagans, the quarterback, is going to have to air one out here eventually if they want to pick up one of these 3rd down and longs. They have yet to cross to their side of the 50 here on offense, the Markesan Hornets. Coach Hyland will send his offense back out onto the field. Deep to return yet another punt is number 36, Ezra Tucker. Tucker, one of the athletic slot backs here in the offense. Stellmacher with the punt there. That one doesn't go over the punter's head. And it'll actually roll nicely out of bounds there. St. Mary Springs will start with the ball on about the 25-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10. Mitch Wechter and Cade Christensen return to the field after connecting for a nice 20-yard touchdown pass on the last drive. As we said, these two have a lot of trust with each other. They've done it on the highest level, scoring touchdowns in the state championship game, basically going out and playing catch. Mitch Wechter found Christensen for a touchdown in the corner of the end zone with just 2 seconds left in the half, throwing him a fade. And then later in the game on a trick play, he pitched it out to Cade Christensen, who had a throwback touchdown to Mitch Wechter on a trick play. Not much trickery here, though, from St. Mary Springs. Pretty straightforward run. Gain, looks like about 2 or 3. We'll see where the refs spot it. It's going to be 2nd down. Some additional receivers checking into the game. Number 7, Stephen Hefner. Number 2, Matthew Moole. As number 10, Joe Hanlon heads to the sideline. Coach Bob Hyland does like to keep his team fresh here at the skill positions, and he's got the depth to do it. Wechter in the flexbone, flanked by 2 wingbacks. He'll send one of them in motion, but the give's going to be to nobody. Wechter elects to keep it himself, and he's down at about the 34-yard line. 2nd down and short. 3rd down and short. Cade Christensen jogging to the sideline here. And he will check out of the game. Send on an additional receiver here for St. Mary Springs. That's going to be number 82, Miles Ottery. 3rd down and 1. I'd expect something straight up the gut here from Coach Bob Hyland. Lined up in the flexbone, power run formation. Give is going to be to the big slot back, number 49, Jake Hoch. And Hoch rumbles ahead there, 6'3", slamming his frame. Did he pick it up? The officials will come out for a measurement. Looked to me like he had it, but no, they're going to say he did not. 4th down and 1. Coach Hyland looking like he's going to go for it here. 4th down and 1 as his offense remains on the field. So here's Mitch Wechter under center. Wechter going to give straight up the middle to Orlandoni, and the big man rumbles ahead for the 1st down.
Wechter and the keeper, enough for a Ledger 1st down.
Actually, that looks like number 13, Carlos Orzols, backup running back. but he picks up the first down. First down and 10 here now for St. Mary Springs after they elected to go for it on 4th down and short in their own territory. But Coach Bob Highland clearly with a lot of faith in this veteran offense, they would be able to execute. I think we have a timeout called. And we'll take a timeout here as well on the Radio Plus Sports Network. You're watching Division VI High School football. Currently up 24-0 St. Mary's Springs as they rumble ahead of Markesan Hornets. We'll be right back.
Team on top of the game for screen printing, custom awards, signage, and embroidery is Hoppers. Hoppers Silk Screen and All-Star Trophy, located in the heart of Fond du Lac, can custom print to 1 shirt or 1,000. Pick from Under Armour, Gildan, Nike, and more. Choose your school for a custom one-of-a-kind look. Need banners, signage, or vehicle wrap? The team at Hoppers does it all. Hoppers Silk Screen and All-Star Trophy at the corner of Main and Merrill, Fond du Lac. Get more now at hopperware.com. That's hopperware.com.
Welcome back, sports fans. We are in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin for the kickoff of the 2018 high school football season. I'm Nick Bodie here for Radio Plus Sports. Thrilling matchup has gotten out of hand a bit early here as the St. Mary's Springs Ledgers, defending state champs at the Division VI level, are up big, 24-0 lead here with just 8 minutes left in the first half. The Markesan Hornets reeling. Head coach John Dunleavy desperately trying to recover here in his first game as head coach for the Hornets. Dunleavy, of course, taking over for Travis Winkers, who left the school in the spring, take another job. Quarterback Mitch Wechter back deep all day to throw. He's going to scramble ahead, try to pick up a few. Picks up about 3 there. Could have been a loss, but he was able to evade some contact there. And he is no pocket passer. If you're running an option offense, you better be able to scramble and pick up a few. Able to turn a potential loss into a nice gain there as Wechter. Some tough running there. And he's tough to bring down, a senior standing 6'3" and 180 pounds. He's got thick legs, built like a fullback. He uses them right there, reminiscent of Tim Tebow at Florida back in the mid-2000s for Urban Meyer. Mitch Wechter now under center in the flexbone formation. Slot back in motion. Going to get the pitch here, and that's Ezra. And yes, that's Ezra Tucker, senior, standing 6'1", 175, and he does move the chains with that. First down and 10, St. Mary's Springs. Tucker got the kind of speed to get out wide, and that's what makes this offense so tough. They're able to pound you up the middle with Marcus Orlandoni, the junior fullback, and a really good offensive line. Meanwhile, out on the perimeter, the speedy slot backs will break one on you when you least expect it. And, of course, you can't forget the man who orchestrates the magical option attack here, Mitch Wechter. Wechter giving up the middle, number 13, Carlos Ozils. Picks up maybe about 2-yard line as they try a up-the-gut run there. Ozils will be subbed out as the starting fullback, Marcus Orlandoni, number 35, checks back in along with number 1 wideout, Cade Christensen. Christensen caught the last touchdown for this St. Mary Springs team. Ledger's lining it up here on 2nd down and 7. Chris in the flex bone here. Wechter firing out, and that one's going to be caught. The slippery number 82, Miles Ottery, and they don't have him yet. Finally brought down at the 20. Ball comes out at the very end there, but he was ruled down. Nice job there by number 4, Adam Weber, to save a potential touchdown there for the Hornets. Markesan flirting with disaster here, allowing another big drive to St. Mary's Springs. And this Springs offense has looked like an absolute machine. No surprise there, though, as they return 3 out of the 4 members of their starting backfield from the state title game last November, along with number 9, Cade Christensen. Christensen alone to the top of the screen here. Number 10, Joe Hanlon, the receiver, to the bottom. Up the middle, Orlandoni. They don't have him yet. Orlandoni with a stiff arm, and the big man rumbles in for a touchdown. Number 35, the fullback, Marcus Orlandoni, would not be denied there, as he is going to put his team up 30-0 with 6 minutes left in this half. Beautifully executed option play there, and that's the thing you forget about. You see it go outside so many times to Ezra Tucker and Jake Hoke. You'd never expect it to go straight up the middle. An old school power call there by Bob Highland, beautifully executed, and I love seeing the fullback score here. In the modern age of spread offenses and 4 and 5 wide receiver sets, nice to see the big man stiff arm someone, say, get out of my way, and will his way into the end zone. Springs now up 31-0 here with 6 minutes left in the half. We'll keep it right here on the Radio Plus Sports Network as this game has gotten out of hand. 35-0 was the final score last year. That was quite a beatdown by the Springs Ledgers against the Marcus Ann Hornets. But looks like they might be able to double that score here, already up 31-0, and we're not even into halftime yet. Quarterback Mitch Wechter has been orchestrating this offense to perfection. Score there by the big fullback Marcus Orlandoni, number 35, who just rumbled his way into the end zone. He was not going to be stopped. Meanwhile, offensively, some struggles for the Marcus Ann Hornets. They've been unable to cross the 50-yard line. Quarterback Craig Plagans has not had much of a chance to throw the ball, as his head coach has elected to run it on 3rd and long several times to see if they stick to that formation. Down this much, I would expect at some point you probably have to expect John Dunleavy to try and air it out. Dunleavy's guys will get the ball here. As teeing it up is number 5, Levi Poss, who's been perfect on extra points so far tonight. 31-0. Started off with a score by Mitch Wechter, then Poss nailed a short field goal. And after that, it has been all St. Mary's Springs. Every drive has been a touchdown, and most of them have occurred relatively quickly. The fastest, of course, being a one-play, one-touchdown, one-pass drive from the 20-yard line, where Wechter nailed one to his go-to receiver, Cade Christensen. Poss sprinting forward, and he will boot it deep. This one will be fielded by Stellmacher. Number 31, Stellmacher, puts on a nice move there. He's going to be brought down about the 33-yard line. Stellmacher, one of the more athletic guys here on this team, and a guy that head coach John Dunleavy says he's expecting big things out of this year. Says he's been a fantastic athlete, but he's really expecting Stellmacher to take the step and become a leader of this offense here in the 2018 season. Mitch Wechter will get some much-needed rest here as he checks out at the safety spot. In for him is number 8, David Mueller at safety. So it'll be Mueller and Ezra Tucker now, the deep safeties, although they haven't seen much action as most of the plays have been short and up the middle here. See if we'll get a deep pass here, and we will. Airing it out there. Beautiful shot there. Oh, they don't have him yet. That ball completed. Oh, my goodness. Craig Plagans lefted one out there to Zach Triggs, and Triggs finally able to get his team into St. Mary's Springs territory, and that is the spark this team needed. Craig Plagans, his coach has been going conservative, but John Dunleavy finally lets him air one out, and a beautiful pass there from Craig Plagans, airing one out deep, caught by number 25, Zach Triggs. First down and 10 Hornets at the 32-yard line of St. Mary's Springs. Craig Plagans here, lined up in the pistol formation. Flexbone backs. Behind him, Jackson Ammond. And off the left side there, not much gain there, is Max Stellmacher, who had the kick return. Again, this set up by a nice catch from number 25, Zach Triggs. Triggs and Stellmacher, two of the speedier guys on this offense for the Marcus Ann Hornets. Second down and about 8 now, as they resort back to running after airing it out on a big pass play. Stellmacher lined up as the H-back to the right side of Plagans here. Plagans going to drop back, pass quickly to his right side, and that batted down at the line. St. Mary's Springs hustling it down, but the officials blow the play dead here. 3rd down and 8. So 3rd down and long. They had success on a long pass to Triggs. See if head coach John Dunleavy finally lets Craig Plagans air one out deep here on 3rd down and 8. They have run in 3rd and long a surprising amount tonight. See if they switch that up here. Plagans heads to the sidelines. It's the call. Meanwhile, number 8, David Mueller, deep at safety, along with Ezra Tucker. Quarterbacks, number 22, Jake Barr, number 7, Stephen Hepfner, senior, fantastic in pass defense. Craig Plagans going to drop back. They are going to throw on 3rd and long, and he's got it. Another fantastic completion to Zach Triggs. So number 32 finding number 25, Triggs there with a nice completion. Triggs standing 6 foot, 175 pounds. Senior there able to move his team forward. 1st down and 10 as they are inching ever closer inside this red zone now. Finally threatening to score their first points of the game are the Marcus Ann Hornets. Craig Plagans, he's got trips to his right. He's going to give up the middle to his tailback. That's given to Jackson Ammond. Ammond rumbles ahead for a couple. Gain of maybe about 3. Going to bring up second down. And he's brought down by Marcus Orlandoni, the junior middle linebacker, who we saw score the last touchdown at fullback for St. Mary Springs. Lots of two-way starters on this team from St. Mary Springs, so don't expect these starters to stay in too long. See if the Hornets can make this an interesting game with a touchdown here, but I would expect if they get ahead by 35 or more, this is probably going to see Coach Bob Hyland pull his starters coming out of the second half. Number 32, Craig Plagans. The spread formation sails one high. He's looking for yet another pass to Zach Triggs, but sails it over the head of Triggs. Triggs standing just 6 foot 175, so that a little bit too tall for him. Cade Christensen might have had a shot at it at 6'4", but these are some undersized receivers here for Markesan. Markesan now on 3rd down and 7. See what they can do with it. Back in at tailback is number 11, Caden Plagans. Craig Plagans, the quarterback, in the pistol, sends a man in motion. Plagans going to keep head on the midline option. Craig Plagans following behind Caden Plagans. And it's going to be 4th down. See what Markesan elects to do. They have been held scoreless here so far, just under 4 minutes left in the half. Looks like they will keep the offense on the field. John Dunleavy looking to tell looks like he's telling his quarterback, we need to score something here. So keep the offense out there on 4th down and 5. In the huddle here. Markesan has yet to score a point in this game. Their last matchup, they were able to score 9 against a very stout St. Mary Springs defense. The Ledger's able to edge out a win in that one, 21-9. We have a timeout, and we'll take a quick break here on Radio Plus before we see 4th down and 5. St. Mary Springs up 31-0 on the Hornets. We will be right back.
If you're looking for a job where you play an important role in your company and work in a supportive team environment, join Spectrum today. As a customer service representative, you'll represent the nation's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice company and help bring Spectrum services to the communities we serve. We offer a competitive salary, best-in-class benefits, complimentary services, paid training, and excellent opportunities for growth and advancement. Interested? Go to jobs.spectrum.com today.
Welcome back to Fruth Memorial Field in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm Nick Bodie for Radio Plus Sports as we see the kickoff of the 2018 high school football season here in the state of Wisconsin. The Markesan Hornets trailing big time down to St. Mary Springs 31-0. They're going to try to get their first touchdown on the board here, electing to go for it on 4th down and 5. Head coach John Dunleavy matching up against a legend in his first game. Bob Hyland has been at St. Mary Springs since 1971. Winning a state title 3 of the last 4 years. Unprecedented success. And so we'll see if Markesan can finally break through here on a 4th down and 5. Craig Plagans, the quarterback. 2 wide receivers to his left. Plagans going to fire deep to his right. Looks like some possible pass interference as that bounces off the hands of Zach Triggs. Some tight defense there, but the official elects to rule that it was clean, and that'll be a turnover on downs. You got to respect the gutsy call here from John Dunleavy. Down 31-0 here with 3.5 minutes left in this first half. He didn't think a field goal was going to cut it. So we will see St. Mary Springs take the ball over here with 3.5 minutes, and inside their own territory, I wouldn't expect anything too risky. Probably look for them to run the clock out here with that inside power game. Senior quarterback Mitch Wechter takes it. No, he's going to throw. Surprise move there. Fires out and brought down at about the 20-yard line. After a nice catch, that's number 10, Joe Hanlon. Hanlon, the senior receiver, stands just 5'9", but a nice target pass there from Mitch Wechter, able to find him. 1st down and 10. So Coach Bob Hyland showing exactly why he is who he is. Just when you're expecting him to go conservative there inside his own goal line, he elects to let his senior quarterback throw him. He has that kind of trust in his team, and Wechter proves him right. 1st down and 10. Wechter going to throw again. No. He's going to, looks like a QB draw there. Line with some nice blocks. He gained about 6 yards on that play, so beautifully executed there. And we saw Wechter's wheels less than a minute into this game when he busted off a 40-yard scramble just 58 seconds into the game for a touchdown. He's a fantastic scrambler, and he's a rare combination of speed and arm strength. He's also got the toughness and the smarts it takes to play quarterback in Bob Hyland's offense. You have to be able to make quick reads and know you're going to take some shots there as an option quarterback. Mitch Wechter now drops back to pass. He's got all day long, firing deep. Is that over the head of Christensen? And it is. Nice job in pass defense there by number 32. That's starting quarterback Craig Plagans there in coverage at the cornerback spot. As the Markesan Hornets in their nickel 3-3-5 package there with 3 defensive backs. So surprising to see St. Mary's Springs going for the throat here. Already up 31-0 with 2:19 left in this first half, but perhaps Coach Bob Hyland wants to put this one away before he lets his starters rest coming out of the second half. See if quarterback Mitch Wechter throws it again here out of the flex bone formation. He's going to send a man in motion, and he's going to give up the middle to Orlandoni. I'm sorry, not to Orlandoni. That's the other fullback, Carlos Ozils, as he rumbles ahead for a first down, and that'll move the chain. First down and 10, as the clock should continue to run once the chains are reset here. Timekeeper will start it back up, so that's 2:10 left in the first half. St. Mary Springs at about the 42-yard line here. Looks like they want one more score before the starters would be likely to rest here. Play action pass, Mitch Wechter. He's going to fire it off to the right side, and that one banks off the hands of his fullback, Carlos Ozils, who just picked up the first down on that rumble. So obviously not Larry Centers-esque hands there from the fullback. And kind of an old school approach there from Coach Bob Hyland. Check down pass there to the fullback. That used to be a lot more common in the late 80s and early 1990s, especially with the proliferation of West Coast systems. You see guys like Tom Rathman for the old 49ers under Bill Walsh and George Seifert catch a lot of balls. Larry Centers, of course, for the Arizona Cardinals. The Phoenix Cardinals at that time used to catch a lot as well. But Ozils unable to hang on. Second down and 10. Mitch Wechter drops back. He's going to hand up the middle to Orlandoni. Orlandoni stopped in the backfield. Rare to see number 35 tackled for a loss. He's tough to bring down. 5'11", 210. The beefy fullback, also a starter at middle linebacker, so he is no stranger to contact. Doesn't shy away from it. Third down and 10 now with 1:33 left in this first half. Springs up 31-0 here. Mitch Wechter in the flex bone. Wechter drops back to pass. Nice protection. He's going to shoot it, and that one caught by Cade Christensen. They're going to rule him down. First down and 10 in Hornet territory. That's going to be spotted about the 44-yard line. And it'll be 1:19 when the clock rolls after the chains crew moves it. So a nice connection there from Wechter to Cade Christensen. These two are almost in sync mentally out there. Almost seems like they have a telepathic connection. Number 3 always knows where number 9 is. As Christensen heads to the sideline, he'll be replaced by number 2, Matthew Moole. The other wide receiver looks like number 82, Miles Ottery, as Mitch Wechter. Play action pass. He's going to fire one deep. He's going for Ottery, and he overshoots him. Oh, so close there for St. Mary's Springs. Ottery unable to come down with that one. And he's not a big target there. Wechter overshot him a little bit. It's going to bring up second down and 10 now with 57 seconds left in this first half. Already up big. Looks like Coach Bob Hyland wants to see one more score out of his starters, but you have to believe if they're able to get up 38-0, you probably will not see the starting offense coming out in the second half here. Mitch Wechter, the senior quarterback, led them to an undefeated 14-0 season and a Division VI state title last year. Trying to come up clutch once again. 57 seconds left here. He's going to give up the middle to Orlandoni. The big fullback stopped short, as that's going to bring up third and long. Nice tackle there by the big defensive lineman, Joey Paddock. Paddock, one of the big bright spots on this roster that Coach John Dunleavy was certainly happy to find himself inheriting. We'll keep it right here on Radio Plus Sports. Joey Paddock, number 75, one of the big offensive and defensive stars, the starting left tackle, also a starting defensive end in this 3-4 scheme, and he is a big man, Joey Paddock, number 75, standing at 6'4", 265, the senior. One of the bigger men in Division VI high school football. Some of these smaller towns, the guy's not necessarily massive, but if you're a big boy, they're going to get as much use out of you as they can And Joey Paddock, one of the strongest guys in the conference. The Trailways Large Conference, where Marcus Ann High School won its unbeaten conference title for the 3rd straight season last year, as they had the best season in program history, making it all the way to the state semifinal game before they lost 21-9 to St. Mary's Springs. Springs won that game on November 10th en route to yet another trip to Camp Randall, where they captured their 3rd state title in the last 4 years. Mitch Wechter was the starting quarterback for that championship game, and he's under center here. 48 seconds left, 3rd down and 9. Look for him to throw it deep. They want one more touchdown before they head into half. Wechter off the hands of Christensen. Christensen looking for a flag, but they're not going to give it to him. Some tight coverage there by Marcus Ann. And that's going to be 4th down and 9, but on about the 45-yard line. This is kind of no man's land here, as it looks like Coach Bob Highland will go for it. Sends number 2 Matthew Moole, the senior wide receiver, onto the field here. Mitch Wechter brings his offense together here. 4th down and 9, and they're going to try and throw one more. Back deep at the safety spot, number 24, Christian Schwant, will try to defend anything deep here. Mitch Wechter scrambling to his right, trying to make something happen. He fires one deep, and that's caught on the sideline. A beautiful connection there to Cade Christensen on 4th down and 9 with the money on the line. He goes to number 9. Cade Christensen, the big 6'4", 210-pound wide receiver, able to haul it in there inside the 5. So now knocking on the door, 1st down and goal at the 4-yard line is St. Mary's Springs here with just 33 seconds left. A gutsy call by Coach Bob Highland, but he trusts his guys to be able to come up with something fantastic there, and they bail him out in a big way. 4th down and 9, ice water in Mitch Wechter's veins as he throws a beautiful deep ball to his money man. And he's going to flip it out here to the left side. Ezra Tucker very close to the end zone. Look for the official from the touchdown. Now they're going to rule it 2nd and inches at about the 1-yard line. They are very, very close here. Clock rolling, 16 seconds left. Wechter's got to get it off here. Does he know the clock's rolling? He's got just 12 seconds left. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Wechter, left side. And did we have somebody jumping off sides, or did we have a timeout called? As the timeout called by the Hornets there, as they may have given St. Mary's Springs a little bit of help there. Springs was trying to get a playoff with 6 seconds left. That's where the clock was when they called a timeout. 2nd down and inches from the goal line here is St. Mary's Springs after converting on 4th down and 9. A long ball from Mitch Wechter to his partner Cade Christensen. Rumbling ahead to about the 1-yard line was Ezra Tucker, the slot back. So goal line defense likely to come in here for the Marcus Ann Hornets. See what Coach Bob Highland calls for his offense down here on the goal line. The big fullback, Marcus Orlandonian. Slot backs are going to be Tucker and number 49, Jake Hawk. And I would expect either Hawk or Orlandoni to get here, but you can never rule out an option carry by Mitch Wechter. Wechter's receiver is going to be Miles Ottery and number 10, Joe Hanlon. Wechter with the ball here on the inch line. Oh, did he fumble it? No, he charges forward. QB sneak trying it. Is he in? The officials come up for a measurement. He's very close to that goal line. And they rule it a touchdown. So that is about as perfect clock management as you will ever see. Mitch Wechter, the senior quarterback, stumbles across the goal line here with 0-0 on the clock here in this first half. 37-0 the lead here. It'll be 38-0 if Levi Poss can stay perfect on the night on his PATs. Levi Poss, just a sophomore, but he's looked very good tonight, and he's been busy. A lot of PATs here for this high-scoring St. Mary's Springs offense. Looking to put the Ledgers up 38-0 heading into halftime. And that one doinks off the upright, so about the first thing that hasn't gone right here for St. Mary's Springs. The lead will stay just 37-0 after an absolute shellacking dished out by the Ledgers here in the first half. The defending state champs showing they are still very much a team to be reckoned with and the team to beat in Division VI football. We'll see if the Marcus Ann Hornets can make something miraculous happen in the second half, but right now they are down big time, 37-0. We're going to take a break here on the Radio Plus Sports Network. I'm Nick Bodie, and we'll be back with you for the second half here from Fruth Memorial Field in Fond du Lac.
Quality service savings every day. That's what you've come to expect from us at FloorQuest, your flooring and cabinetry destination. We've always provided the best quality flooring and cabinetry for your home, and now our inspired cabinetry and flooring products are doing that more than ever before. Get inspired today and save. In stock, expanded selection, everyday low pricing, along with interior design help and professional installation means the best is in store for you at FloorQuest, Washburn Street in Oshkosh, Rolling Meadows Drive, Fond du Lac.
Welcome back to Fruth Memorial Field here in the heart of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm Nick Bodie for Radio Plus Sports, and we have been witness to an absolute beatdown here in the first half. The defending D6 state champs, St. Mary Springs, have jumped out to a very big lead. The Ledgers absolutely pounding the Marcus Ann Hornets 37-0 here in the first half. The Hornets in their first game under new head coach John Dunleavy. Dunleavy taking over for Travis Winkers, who left for Darlington in the spring, and he's had to switch things up for his team. Lost his starting quarterback and his two best wide receivers. They've had to go a bit more run heavy and kind of struggling to find their identity so far in the first half. They had one drive that got inside St. Mary Springs' 20-yard line. Came up to 4th down and 5, and John Dunleavy made the gutsy call to go for it. Unfortunately, though, his offense unable to come up with a score there. So that was taken over in about a 95-yard drive there from Mitch Wechter. I expected Coach Bob Hyland to maybe just run the clock out, but he evidently wanted his starters to fully put this game away, as they're now up 37-0 heading into this first half. Really brilliant execution there, and they've scored from everywhere on the field, the Ledgers. Mitch Wechter had a QB option. We saw Marcus Orlandoni, the big fullback, rumble ahead for one. Ezra Tucker, Cade Christensen, the big wide receiver, had a couple beautiful catches, one of them for a 20-yard touchdown, and they have looked pretty much unstoppable, unable to score at will. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to keep that up here in the second half. And talking to the coaches before this game, I had a lot of questions for Bob Hyland. He's been here at St. Mary Springs all the way back since 1971. The team was not too good. His first 2 years, they were 1-15-2. But since then, he's gone on to become the winningest coach in Wisconsin State high school football. And he has surpassed 400 wins a few years ago in 2014. Won his 7th WIAA title last November as St. Mary Springs beat Iola Scandinavia 35-12 in the state championship, and that was just a fantastic game from everybody that we've seen out here tonight. Mitch Wechter, of course, had the triple crown in that game. He had one touchdown receiving, that thrown to him on a throwback from wide receiver Cade Christensen. He also rushed for a touchdown and threw a couple more. He's had a similar performance tonight, one rushing, a couple throwing, and he has been absolutely lights out. Cade Christensen and Mitch Wechter have been connected like Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning for the early 2000s Colts teams. They have been absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, a bit of a struggle here for the Marcus Ann Hornets offensively. Number 32, Craig Plagans, the quarterback, trying to make something happen. He's had a couple nice connections to number 25, Zach Triggs, but unable to make much happen there. They've tried a few gadget plays to slot back Max Stelmacher, but unfortunately the speedy Stelmacher unable to make very much happen here in this game. And such sustained success here for St. Mary Springs. They have been really, really unbelievably good here in these last couple of years. Asking him about the flexbone formation that he has run since it seems the beginning of time. 47 years, a long time to have a relatively unchanged playbook. But Coach Bob Hyland says, it puts a lot of stress on the other team. It's not flashy, but it's methodical, and it moves the chains. We're going to win games on execution, no mistakes. Reminds me a bit of Tom Osborne and his offense that he would run out of the I formation back in the 1990s at Nebraska, and that they have some option schemes, but they're also content to run ISO plays, and they'll run some other, not just outside options, they run some veer, they run some midline options, they've got some QB keepers, a little bit of everything built into their offensive playbook here. St. Mary Springs won their 7th state title last year, finishing a perfect 14-0 in the state championship, winning the Flyway Conference, and they're predicted to win that conference yet again this year. They're a private Catholic academy located in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and St. Mary Springs was actually given its name due to the presence of artesian springs flowing naturally from the ledge, or the Niagara Escarpment, which is a glacial landform in which the campus was built into. It was thought that the fresh air and natural spring water held healing benefits for tuberculosis patients back in the day. St. Mary's Springs Academy, one of the premier programs in Division VI high school football. Currently off to a big lead here, 37-0. We're going to take a commercial break here on the Radio Plus Sports Network. We'll be back with some fun facts about Coach Bob Hyland and his rise to fame here as the head coach of the St. Mary's Springs Ledgers. Going to take a break, though, right here on Radio Plus Sports.
Quality service savings every day. That's what you've come to expect from us at FloorQuest, your flooring and cabinetry destination. We've always provided the best quality flooring and cabinetry for your home, and now our inspired cabinetry and flooring products are doing that more than ever before. Get inspired today and save. In stock, expanded selection, everyday low pricing, along with interior design help and professional installation means the best is in store for you at FloorQuest, Washburn Street in Oshkosh, Rolling Meadows Drive, Fond du Lac.
Welcome back from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. We're here at Fruth Memorial Field. I'm Nick Bodie for Radio Plus Sports here for the opening kickoff of the high school football season. Non-conference matchup here in Division VI between the defending state champion St. Mary's Springs Ledgers and the Markesan Hornets. Both teams in different conferences. The Hornets play in the Trailways Large Conference, while St. Mary's Springs plays in the Flyway Conference. Both teams favored to win their conferences so far. It would seem they would be evenly matched. They certainly were the last time they met up in the state semifinal game on November 10th of last year for the right to go to the state championship. That was a tight win for St. Mary's Springs. They won just 21-9, but tonight it's been no contest so far, up big time, 37-0 lead here at half. They've got up on Markesan big and just never relinquished. Meanwhile, the Hornets have struggled to get much done offensively. And when you're coaching against Bob Hyland for the first time here, as Coach John Dunleavy is, it can be really challenging to get everything because he just does everything right. Very, very few mistakes here from the Hornets. Bob Hyland played offensive line at North Dakota State back in the late 1960s, winning a Division II NCAA championship with the Bison in 1969. And he brought the offense that they ran, which was an innovative veer option at the time, taught to him by Coach Ron Earhart, brought that with him to St. Mary's Springs in 1971. That offense, of course, Coach Hyland and the Bison had a 10-0 perfect season in 1969, capped off by beating the University of Montana 30-3 in the Camellia Bowl that year, winning a national championship. And Coach Hyland brought not only the veer option, but championship culture and a winning attitude to St. Mary's Springs, who have been absolutely fantastic here. They've got 7 WIAA state championships in the last 18 years. Coach Bob Hyland really does not change much year after year, running very much the same offense. And I had the pleasure of being able to talk to him yesterday. He was just a really fascinating guy. I said, Coach, why is it you're able to have such sustained success? And he says, we keep things consistent. I've had pretty much the same coaching staff here for a really long time. We don't really change things around very much, and our kids know what to expect. He said they know the drills, they know the plays so well. He said his team was bored, and he thought they were ready to start after their first contact practice in the spring. Veteran squad on offense, quarterback Mitch Wechter leading a lot of seniors on this team, and they clearly know this offense inside and out. And that's not to say, of course, that Markesan doesn't know what's coming. Largely they do, but their head coach John Dunleavy said what makes this offense so tough to defend against is the fact that it just puts your defense in a really bad position. Anytime you're running the option, they're looking for you to make a mistake, and he described St. Mary's Springs as being almost robotic in their patiencing. They'll wait for you to make a mistake, and then they'll capitalize. They've done that brilliantly here tonight. Coach John Dunleavy said he was excited to get started, although a little bit anxious, and for good reason. And he knew he was going up against a state powerhouse, and there's certainly no shame in being down, even big time here as they were down 37-0 in the half. No shame in that when you're playing against one of the elite programs in Wisconsin high school football. He hasn't changed a whole lot in the culture, John Dunleavy said, but he was forced to make some changes offensively and defensively. Defensively, they lost some very talented D-backs, and they had to go away from a 3-3-5 nickel base to more of a 3-4 regular base here. Although their defensive line has been very strong, led by defensive end Joey Paddock, who has been one of the rare bright spots here tonight for the Markesan Hornets. We've got about 5.5 minutes left in halftime before St. Mary's Springs retakes the field, so we'll take a nice long commercial break here on the Radio Plus Sports Network. You're watching high school football on Radio Plus. I'm Nick Bodie, and we'll be back in a few.
442-1.
Quality service savings every day. That's what you've come to expect from us at FloorQuest, your flooring and cabinetry destination. We've always provided the best quality flooring and cabinetry for your home, and now our inspired cabinetry and flooring products are doing that more than ever before. Get inspired today and save. In stock, expanded selection, everyday low pricing, along with interior design help and professional installation means the best is in store for you at FloorQuest, Washburn Street in Oshkosh, Rolling Meadows Drive, Fond du Lac.
From Fruth Memorial Field here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, I'm Nick Bodie for Radio Plus Sports. You're watching a fantastic kickoff game here for the St. Mary's Springs Ledgers. They've been able to get out to a big lead. This is their first game since the state championship against Iola Scandinavia last November. That game, of course, they won 35-12, and they have already surpassed their score from that game, 37-0. Currently their lead, with about 3.5 minutes left here in halftime. And a big part of that has been their offense, which has been not only potent, but very diverse. Talking to head coach Bob Hyland yesterday about this offense that's been largely unchanged since he got here in 1971. He said, you know, you don't have to do too much with it. You just kind of put in some wrinkles. They run several options, including midline options and a classic veer. And they really try to use mesh points to put stress on an opponent's defense. They're going to force you to commit. If you don't commit to the inside, they'll give up the middle to the big fullback Marcus Orlandoni. And if the defensive end crashes in on him, then they're going to run to the outside with Mitch Wechter and his speedy slot backs. And that can be a nightmare for defenses as well as we saw Mitch Wechter take one 40 yards on a QB keeper just 58 seconds into this game. And that really did set the tone offensively here for St. Mary's Springs. They're a typical power run offense. They use a lot of ISO concepts, and I'd liken them almost a bit to the late 90s Nebraska teams. Bob Hyland certainly reminiscent of Coach Tom Osborne with those teams. You know, legendary coach, winning tradition, and speak softly but carry a big lead. They certainly do here in the second half, up 37-0. His slot backs are fast, his fullbacks are big and beefy, and he said when you're diverse, you're going to be very tough for people to stop. Mitch Wechter was really the star of the first half. The senior quarterback, number 3, led his team to a perfect 14-0 season en route to a state title last year. And 3 out of the 4 starters return in that backfield. Fullback Carlos Orlandoni along with Wechter, and slot back Ezra Tucker, one of the best athletes on the field, the outside slot back, also a punt returner, and the starting safety for St. Mary's Springs as well. The Ledgers offense has a ton of talent, but Coach Bob Hyland says not a ton of experience. They're certainly gaining plenty of that tonight. They've rotated a lot of receivers. Cade Christensen obviously leading the group, number 9, standing 6'4". Bob Hyland remarked that he is a matchup nightmare, but equally good have been Joe Hanlon, number 10, number 2, Matthew Moole, number 7, Stephen Hepfner, and number 82, Miles Ottery. Really impressive game from them so far. And they've been strong in the secondary as well. Mitch Wechter, the starting quarterback, actually started at safety, but they finally let him rest a little bit on defense. They've been playing number 8, David Mueller, at safety, but keeping Ezra Tucker out there on defense. Asking Coach Bob Hyland heading into this game, he said, we know Marcus Ann's a good team. Obviously, they gave us a run for our money in the state semifinals last November. But he knew they'd moved some talent around. They had a new coach, and he described them as kind of an unknown entity. He said he was really unsure how to game plan for a team with so many new faces. And indeed, their coach John Dunleavy let me in on the secret that they were moving from almost a spread attack last year to some wing T and flexbone formations, running more of a power option run game here in this game. Really changed things up, but it has not thrown the Ledgers for a loop. St. Mary's Springs defense has been stout, have not allowed a single point here in this first half, currently shutting out the Hornets 37-0. And defensively, they've looked really good. They have packages for both 3-4 and 4-3 fronts, but Coach Bob Hyland said he can't take the credit for their stout defense, giving that all to coordinator Zach Wilderman, saying, Zach handles all that for me. I don't touch the defense at all. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Obviously, the best coaches know how to delegate, clearly putting a lot of his faith not only in his coordinators, but in his players. I think a really great display of that there, that closing score of the first half, 4th down and 9 at about the 45-yard line, and Coach Bob Hyland, instead of electing to punt, sent his offense out there, believed in Mitch Wechter, and Wechter repaid his faith by connecting on a deep ball to Cade Christensen, which set up a short score just a few plays later when Mitch Wechter barreled through on a QB sneak. Now, Coach Bob Hyland was actually a little bit worried heading into this game, if you can believe it. Seems silly now as his team's executed so well, but yesterday I called him Thursday and I was going to ask him about practice, but he said unfortunately they weren't able to get out and practice at all the night before their first game as rain and inclement weather kept them off the field. He said they weren't able to get into the gym to practice, and he was a little bit worried. He thought that might hurt the team in a big way. Obviously, his fears unfounded as his senior leadership really able to step through. Wechter and Christensen and Ezra Tucker doing a beautiful job leading the team, and he said that's what's really impressed him. He talked about the players first as athletes, but we ended our conversation yesterday with Coach Bob Hyland saying they're just great kids. They've been very focused. There's leaders all over the roster, and the kids just seemed ready. He said they were ready to get back, ready to hit the first contract drills, ready to start two-a-days in the summer, and certainly ready for Game 1 of the 2018 season. They look to be well on their way to another trip to the Division VI state championship game. Obviously, very early to say that, but when you start 37-0 against a really excellent team here in the Marcus Ann Hornets, you got to believe they're headed for good things this year. He said the kids were almost bored running through the drills and the basic offense, and they just wanted to play, and clearly Mitch Wechter shows why that was the case. They've mastered this offense to such a degree that they just wanted to get out of there. At a certain point, you're ready to stop scrimmaging. And he said they wanted to get out and play. They have done that in a big way. Returning seniors make this what Coach Bob Hyland said is a very special and focused senior class. Meanwhile, a bit of a younger team on the other side, the Marcus Ann Hornets, were excited to get started, Coach John Dunleavy said, but he said they were well aware they're playing a state powerhouse, and he knew that this could potentially get out of hand. Certainly no embarrassment, losing big time when you've got a lot of new starters, installing a new offense and a new defense, and against one of the premier powerhouse programs, but I wouldn't expect them to give in and throw in the towel just yet. Marcus Ann in the state semifinals last year, when they got down big, wound up pulling out some huge trick plays. They completed a 38-yard fake punt attempt. They also had some hook and ladders and a double hook and ladder deep in the third quarter of that one. So I would be on the watch for Coach John Dunleavy to maybe pull some trickery here, as his team is going to get the ball on offense to start this second half. Number 5, Levi Poss, who doinked the PAT off the left upright, going into halftime, will have the kickoff. He's going to fire it deep, and that's going to be fielded by number 31, Max Stelmacher. Stelmacher across the 25, across the 30, and finally brought down at about the 31, where it'll be first down and 10. A lot of two-way starters still headed back in there. Starting fullback Marcus Orlandoni heads back in at linebacker, as does number 49, Jake Hoch, one of the starting slot backs, and number 3, Mitch Wechter, the star quarterback out there playing safety. So he is not your typical quarterback, certainly does not shy away from contact, and oftentimes he's the one bringing the wood out there at the safety spot. Also starting in the defensive backfield is Marcus Ann Hornets quarterback Craig Plagans. He's number 32, under center here, as he's going to give up the middle and stop for almost no gain. That's his running back, Jackson Ammond. Ammon, number 23 there, stopped for no gain. Looks like they're going to say 2nd and 8 after the ball is spotted here for the Hornets. Hornets only had one drive that got into Ledger territory, and it wound up ending after they went for it on 4th and 5 and were unable to convert. We talk a lot about St. Mary Springs' offense, but their defense has been incredibly stout as they get an interception there. Uh-oh, this could be trouble. Heading down, this is Cade Christensen. Cade Christensen, the linebacker, has a pick 6. So a receiving touchdown and a beautiful pick 6 there. Cade Christensen showing off those wide receiver hands from the middle linebacker spot, and the senior just saw the ball come across his visage, waited for it, picked off Craig Plagans' pass, and made him pay in a big, bad way, jumping all over the Hornets here on their opening drive of the half. St. Mary's Springs continues the beatdown, now up 43-0 against the Hornets. Really fantastic job by Cade Christensen. Oftentimes when you see a guy on defense drop an interception, they'll say, well, you know, if he had hands, he'd be playing offense. Well, Cade Christensen, a real throwback to the leather helmets and the Iron Men of the old NFL and the old college and high school games, playing both ways. The wide receiver starting the second half at middle linebacker, and he puts his team up 43-0, now 44-0, as the PAT is good. No doink there from Levi Poss, so wow. St. Mary's Springs not relenting or taking their foot off the gas at all. Beautiful interception there made by number 9, Cade Christensen, who showed wide receiver hands and also some wide receiver moves there in the open field to turn the interception into a pick six. We'll keep it right here on Radio Plus Sports. I'm Nick Bodie, and I barely had time to catch my breath coming out of that second half. We saw St. Mary's Springs score with no time left on the clock. QB keeper by Mitch Wechter. And they come out here in the second half. Starters still in the game. Two-way starters Mitch Wechter and Cade Christensen in the game. And Christensen, number 9, the number 1 receiver on the team, also starting at middle linebacker in this 3-4 defense. And he picks off a pass there from Marcus Ann quarterback number 32, Craig Plagans, taking it the distance for a pick six, putting his team up 44-0. Poor Levi Poss here, the kicker. His leg's going to get tired. He's been kicking it off a lot here tonight. A lot of extra points, too. He might be a little bit sore there, the sophomore, as he boots it deep yet again. This looks like it will be fielded. No, it's going to be knocked out of bounds and picked up at about the 20. It's number 24 for the Marcus Ann Hornets, one of their starting corners. That's Christian Schwant. And so heading back out onto the field, trying to shake off that interception on the last drive, Craig Plagans, who's just trying to get anything going positively here against St. Mary's Springs. The Springs Ledgers have been all over the field. Seems like everywhere Craig Plagans looks for a completion, they're there. The only guy he's had a real connection with is number 25, Zach Triggs. See if he's able to find Triggs for another play here as he's trying to reinvigorate the offense and avoid another turnover. Plagans, a quarterback. Looks like we have a penalty, may have been a false start. No, it looks like a timeout there called. And we'll take a quick 30-second break here on Radio Plus Sports. I'm Nick Bodie. You're watching high school football from Fruth Memorial Field. We'll be right back, but right now St. Mary's Springs up big time, 44-0 on the Marcus Ann Hornets. We'll be back after this.
No regrets. If only she'd parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is seriously good insurance that treats you fairly and goes above and beyond to make you feel like your auto or home mishap never happened, at rates that'll save you as much as the other guys. So get a quote from Erie today.
Your local Erie agent is Jackson Call Insurance Services, 920-923-4020.
Is Kimberly's win streak at right now? What's Kimberly's win streak at? We are back here from Fruth Memorial Field talking with my producers as we have a potential upset brewing. Fond du Lac up 21-14 on Kimberly. Kimberly, one of the premier powerhouse programs in Division I high school football. Seems like they've won the state championship every year for the last decade. Currently down a touchdown, though. See if the hometown Fond du Lac Cardinals are able to pull something out here as Marcus Ann. Nice rush there. It's going to be good for a first down. And that's number 31, Max Stellmacher, and no quit in this Marcus Ann team. First down and 10, and you got to respect that. This team down big, 44-0 here in the second half, but they've got their heads held high. They're going out there trying to execute. Got to respect that. Head coach John Dunleavy in his first game here with Marcus Ann. He's been with the program a long time, was a defensive assistant under their previous coach who left in the spring for another job. So he's taken over a squad here, replete with a lot of heart. And now offensively with the ball, St. Mary's Springs up the gut. Orlandoni, he rumbles ahead for a nice gain. And Orlandoni, very tough to bring down. Also the starting middle linebacker, so he's not one to shy away from contact. The junior standing 5'11", 210 pounds at fullback. And this flex mode offense, he's what's known as the dive back, the inside man on a triple option play. Mitch Wechter will hand it off to him unless the defensive line crashes inside, at which point he'll take it outside, try to pitch off to one of the slot backs. Slot backs here are Ezra Tucker, number 36, and number 49, Jake Hoke. Rolling out to his left side on a QB keeper, keeping the play alive. He better get rid of the ball. He doesn't. Mitch Wechter goes down there at about the 40-yard line. Loss on the play, so big surge up front there from the Markesan Hornets, and this defensive line was talked up big time by head coach John Dunleavy. He said, this is going to be the strength of our defense going forward. Number 75, Joey Paddock, the big defensive end. Bryce Friday, a real animal in there at nose tackle. They are big, they are strong, and they are hungry, able to drive St. Mary's Springs back for a big-time loss there. 3rd down and 15 now for the Ledgers. First, about as long as we've seen the Ledgers have to convert here on 3rd and long. Keeping in their base flexbone formation. Power run look, but they're certainly passing out of it here. Wechter fires deep, and he's got a real nice connection there. That's number 2, Matthew Moole, the senior wide receiver, goes up and gets that one, and they're going to be back inside the red zone. Beautiful execution on 3rd down and long from Mitch Wechter. A lot of two-way starters in this defensive backfield here for Markesan, including number 25. One of their ultra-athletic players, Zach Triggs. He's been their best receiver on the night by far, having a couple really nice catches offensively. See if he can get his hands on a ball the way Cade Christensen was able to on the last drive. You know, Triggs would love to get a pick 6 here, get his team on the board, get back into the fight. And number 36 takes the ball there. That's Ezra Tucker, the slot back. And he rumbles ahead for a gain of a few. He's going to bring up 2nd down here for St. Mary's Springs.
On the recovery.
No, looks like we have a fumble recovered there by Markesan, so a nice heads-up play will send the St. Mary's Springs defense back out onto the field. As number 22, Jake Barr, the senior cornerback, takes the field. One of the few guys who's not a two-way starter. Some new faces finally coming in here defensively. Number 15, Tim Schussler, comes in on defense here. And we'll see if up 44-0 head coach Bob Hyland starts to pull some of his starters. Mitch Wechter on the sideline out there, not playing safety anymore. Safety is now Ezra Tucker. And number 8, David Mueller. Under center here at the quarterback. Looks like we have somebody jumped. See if it was an offsides or a false start call. As Craig Plagans, the Markesan quarterback, never got a chance to get the ball off. Looks like they will rule it a false start, so in the miscue will lose 5 yards for the Hornets. Marching them back now, 1st down and 15. And looking to capitalize off a turnover here on 4th down and 15. Craig Plagans, number 32, the quarterback. Going up the middle, and now actually looks like we might have some backups into the game here for Markesan as well. Yes, they have sent in some of the second stringers now, down 44-0. Looks like they'll get some experience for some of the younger guys on their roster, and this can certainly be very valuable early on in the year. Coach John Dunleavy probably trying to get experience for as many guys on this roster as he can. So some new names coming out here.
One on the play side of 14.
I think last time I checked, like 1,200 something.
And at quarterback here for Markesan now, number 8, that's Cole Slark. He's going to give off to Aaron Day, number 3, but Day stopped for not much of a gain there. So that'll bring up 3rd down and long. First we've seen of number 8, Cole Slark in the game. See if he can convert a 3rd down and long. Slark stands just 5'7" and 125 pounds. And he's just a sophomore here, playing under the Friday Night Lights early in this one against one of the powerhouse programs. See if he can convert a 3rd down and 20. We get our first throw here from Slark. No, they'll elect to keep it on the ground here. Smart call there, backed up on your own goal line. You don't want to take a sack or any kind of a safety. And it'll be a punt on 4th down and long. And very tough situation there for John Dunleavy and his team. You know, as they say, there aren't many plays in the playbook for 3rd down and 20. Makes the smart conservative call, keep it on the ground, see if you can pick up something. Unfortunately, nothing miraculous able to happen there. And now they'll punt the ball deep. Waiting the punt for St. Mary's Springs, number 36, Ezra Tucker. And alongside Tucker is number 8, David Mueller. Mueller will field the ball here at about the 40-yard line, up the left sideline. And they're going to knock him out of bounds at about the 30.
David Miller on the
starting their drive in St. Mary's Springs territory, and looks like we finally have a personnel change from Springs as well. sending on some new personnel, including backup quarterback Braden King, number 4. Braden King taking over for Mitch Wechter, who had a fantastic night. King will now give it a shot out of head coach Bob Hyland's famed flexbone offense. Not sure quite how his legs or his arm strength compare. We'll be interested to see that. Number 8, David Mueller heads onto the field.
Personal foul against the Hornets as he climbs.
I'm sorry, that's number 2, Matthew Moole, who had a nice catch on their last drive. So here comes King, Braden King, the backup quarterback here in the flexbone formation.
First and 10, Ledgers from the 23.
Third quarter here, on 44-0. As Marcus and St. Mary Springs trying to get some valuable experience in here for their backups. Classy move by Coach Bob Hyland to pull his starters. Going to give up the middle there is King, up to the fullback, in one of the classic bread and butter plays out of this formation. And that looked like Tony Koenigs, number 42, the big fullback. Koenig stands just 5'7", 150 pounds, but he looked a lot bigger on that carry. Nice job. We've already seen Marcus Orlandoni and number 13, Carlos Ozils, so far in this game. King in the flexbone again. Koenig's behind him, sends a man in motion. And he's going to give off to number 13. It's like Carlos Ozils. Bit difficult to see there in a mesh of blue jerseys. Heading to the sideline here is Matthew Moole. Checking into the game is Miles Ottery. A couple nice catches here in the first half of this game. 3rd down and 3 for St. Mary Springs. Ottery here alone to the top of the screen, the other wide receiver. First we've seen of Aiden Ottery. So Miles Ottery, 82, and Aiden Ottery, 81. See if St. Mary Springs is able to move the chains here. That was Carlos Ozils, number 13, and he's got enough for the first down. So getting some backups in here, Aiden Ottery and Miles Ottery. Standing about the same height. Aiden Ottery a little bit taller, 6'2", 185. Miles Ottery, number 82, stands just 6 foot, 140, but a little bit speedier. Springs threatening now inside the goal line. Got 50 seconds left as the clock ticks down here. Of course, part of WIAA rules for high school football in the state of Wisconsin. Once you're ahead 35-0 or more, there's continuous running clock. So the mercy rule in effect here as the backups for both teams play out the stretch, and both Coach Bob Hyland and Coach John Dunleavy trying to get some valuable experience here for their second stringers. Second string quarterback Braden King, number 4, under center here for Springs. And he's going to give up the middle. No, he's going to keep it himself off the left side, showing off his wheels there. Some nice quickness, but a really good defensive play there made by Marcusan. They're going to bring up a 3rd down and 5.
No gain brings up 3rd and 5.
3rd down and 5 as number 81 checks back into the game for St. Mary Springs. That's Miles Ottery. That's the other Ottery, Aiden Ottery. As we have a timeout, and we'll take one here as well on the Radio Plus Sports Network. I'm Nick Bodie. You're watching high school football on Radio Plus. St. Mary Springs up 44-0 as we head into the 4th quarter, and we will be right back.
At Summit Automotive, we treat you like family.
We're right here off Highway 41 in Fond du Lac.
And we have one of the largest selections of vehicles.
That's right, over 400 to choose from. At Summit Automotive.
New Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Rams.
And one of the largest used car and truck selections.
That means you can drive one home today.
We'll give you our best deal.
Our best value.
You have our word on it.
Come see us. We'll go
the extra mile for you. At Summit Automotive, Fond du Lac.
Welcome back here to Fruth Memorial Field in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm Nick Bodie for Radio Plus Sports as we are here in the closing stanza of a game that's been a really well-executed plan from St. Mary Springs. The Ledgers, the defending Division VI state champions, playing a very good game against the Marcusan Hornets. Hornets not able to do much here tonight, but certainly no shame in losing to one of the best teams in the state. Speaking of elite programs in high school football, a game of local interest to some of the fans here in Fond du Lac. The Fond du Lac Cardinals currently up 28-21 on the Kimberly Papermakers. The Kimberly Papermakers, of course, with one of the longest unbeaten streaks in the nation, won the last 5 or 6 state championships in Division I, and that winning streak certainly being threatened here. No threat of a loss, though, for St. Mary's Springs, the powerhouse program in blue, as they have switched sides here. Backup quarterback Braden King, number 4 under center here in the flex bone, sends a man in motion. He's going to give up the middle, and in for the score is the second-string fullback, Carlos Ozils. Number 13 rumbles ahead for a touchdown, and that's going to break the 50-point barrier here. 50-0 now for St. Mary's Springs, as the second-team offense able to go out there and execute rather nicely. Nice easy call there up the middle. If you're inside, you got these big old fullbacks like Orlandoni and Ozils. Just give it off to him and trust your offensive line to pick up the yards. Bob Hyland's an old school guy, and he makes the correct call there. His team executing very, very well. Sending on for the PAT now, number 5, Levi Poss, and this is number 3, Mitch Wechter, the starting quarterback, still in there as holder. So he probably thought his night was done, but evidently still having to fulfill his duties on special teams, which you do have to do here on some of the smaller rosters. This is Division VI high school football, so not one of these teams like an Arrowhead or a Kimberly that's got probably 80 or 90 guys on the final roster. Wechter clapping it up, happy to see his team doing so well here, up 51-0 now with 11:55 left in this fourth quarter. Been a tough night for the Markesan Hornets, but they have not quit. A lot of fight, they're holding their heads up high, and you really have to respect that. They knew this was a tough matchup. You respect the team and the athletic director for taking a tough non-conference matchup here against St. Mary's Springs 2 years in a row. They did lose to Springs last year 35-0, but met them again in the state semifinal game and made Springs really eke out a tight 21-9 win. No quit tonight in the Hornets. They have nothing, they have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. They've really done the best that they can here, and we'll see in number 24 back here for Christian Schwant, back to receive the kickoff here with 11:55 left in the game. WIAA mercy rule in effect. So we will have continuous running clock here for the fourth quarter. And it's going to be received here. Number 24, Christian Schwant. He's going ahead forward. They don't have him yet. And finally brought down at about the 40-yard line. A really nice return here from Schwant, one of the shiftier guys here for this Markesan roster. A starter for them in the defensive backfield and doing a very nice job there. Really good open field vision. Defensive backs are very good at that for whatever reason. I think a lot of it is they sit back, kind of play center field. You see the field in a very different way. Some of the great returners, of course, in National Football League and college history have been defensive backs. Of course, Deion Sanders comes easily to mind, Ed Reed, the University of Miami, and, of course, the Baltimore Ravens here. And up the gut, but for not much gain. Looks like that was number 10, Preston Withen. 6 foot, 155-pound junior. And Withun, Preston Withun. Not much of a gain on that carry there. Second down and 10. Do we have a timeout? Looks like we do. Timeout called by Markesan, and we'll take a break here as well. A 30-second break here on the Radio Plus Sports Network. I'm Nick Bodie, and we'll be right back with more high school football from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Dr. Kathy Doyle and her team realize that teamwork is the key to success. From the team at Doyle Kelly Family Dentistry, call 907-1400. That's 907-1400.
We welcome you back here to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm Nick Bodie for the Radio Plus Sports Network. Ruth Memorial Stadium, the site of this non-conference matchup to kick off the 2018 season. The defending D6 state champion St. Mary's Springs Ledgers up big time. 51-0 lead here with just under 11 minutes left in the game against the Markesan Hornets. Backups in now for both teams. This is backup quarterback number 8, Cole Slark, in the full house diamond formation. He's going to give it up to the left side there. That's a nice give there to number 10. That's Preston Withun. And Withun knocked out of bounds after a gain of about 5.
Withun on the carry.
Preston Withun, one of many young guys here getting some valuable experience in the fourth quarter. And on these teams where the rosters aren't big, you never know when your number might be called. You know, not only late in games, but you have to be ready, of course, in any level of football. Next man up always must be prepared if an injury occurs or somebody goes down. As we see Cole Slark here. Slark gonna drop back and pass, fires one out to the right side, but that one sailed on him. Pass was intended for number 21, James Triggs. Of course, Zach Triggs had a nice game with the first team offense, had a couple really nice receptions there. James Triggs, though, unable to haul that one in from quarterback Cole Slark.
Are we supposed to have FarQuest?
Here at Fruth Memorial Field in Fond du Lac Stadium, where it looked like we were going to have a little bit of inclement weather earlier on in the night. We did have some thunder rolling off in the distance, a few droplets of rain, but thankfully it held off. We had a beautiful night here to kick off the season as that punt is muffed, going to be recovered by St. Mary Springs at about the 50-yard line, as it was just off the foot of Max Stellmacher. Stellmacher has been trying to do it all for this team. He was the starter at slot back, got a lot of action offensively. One of their better return men tonight, and that ball just kind of goes off his foot. It does happen from time to time. St. Mary Springs will take over almost exactly at midfield here as the clock continues to run. Just over 9 minutes left here in this fourth quarter. Head coach Bob Hyland getting his backup some experience here. They get plenty of experience as he is not one to keep his starters in too long. Very classy coach once he gets ahead and he's comfortable that the game is put away. Of course, you do have to make sure the other team isn't going to come back, but we saw after that pick six by Cade Christensen, once they were up 44-0, said, okay, enough's enough. Let's get the backups in, following suit with the Markesan Hornets. And so now both teams getting some experience for the younger guys and a really cool experience for them. Season opener, non-conference game like this, two very good teams. Teams expected to win their respective conferences. St. Mary Springs Academy, favorites to repeat in the Flyway Conference. Meanwhile, Markesan High School, coming off their best season in program history, also favorites to win the Trailways Large Conference as they claimed an unbeaten conference title for the third straight season last year. They're under new direction here as head coach Travis Winkers left for Darlington in the spring, and defensive coach John Dunleavy took over. He's a guy who's been with the program a long time, so he knows what Markesan football is all about. Had a really nice chat with him on the phone yesterday, and he was really excited for this game. I think certain coaches could be scared or anxious to play such a powerhouse program, but he said, you know what, it's a tough game, and we look forward to that. We want to see where we line up. If you want to be one of the big boys, you got to be able to play with the big boys, the elite teams in the state, and they have certainly stacked up and seen how they measure up here tonight. He says he's looking for a big season from Max Stellmacher, number 31, wide receiver, slot back end punter. Says he's a great athlete, and he's really seen him take a nice step so far in camp this year. Otherwise, starting left tackle Joey Paddock, also a big impact maker on the defensive line, will probably be in for a big season. And Coach John Dunleavy said that was the big change from last year, where their skill position players were really kind of the key to success. He says this year it's going to be the offense and defensive line. They're going to try to win these games in the trenches here. As that ball sails, and it's going to be intercepted there. That looks like number 10, Preston Witten. Preston Whitham. And a nice job there, interception there. Able to pick off backup quarterback Braden King for St. Mary Springs. And Markesan will take over here at about the 48-yard line, marching in to Ledger's territory. Still looking for their first score of the night, down 51-0, with 6.5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter of this game. Meanwhile, Fond du Lac still holding on to their lead, 28-21, up on the Kimberly Papermakers here late in the third quarter. Fans here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin at Fruth Memorial are certainly keeping a tight eye on that game. That would be a big-time upset if the Papermakers are handed their first loss in several years. The Papermakers painfully beating my hometown Sun Prairie Cardinals in the state championship in a decisive victory last year, and really have to respect the program and able to churn out so much success. They get a lot of attention, but not really getting the same amount of attention, though they're certainly deserving, is this St. Mary Springs program. It's been one of the most consistent here in Wisconsin's high school football history. They've had 10 trips to the state championship since 2000. They won titles in 2002, 2009, back-to-back in 2011 and 2012, and then they've won 3 out of the last 4 Division VI WIAA state football titles, winning in 2014, 2015, and pulling off a nice, comfortable 35-12 win against Iola Scandinavia in the D6 title game last November. St. Mary's Springs, with that 7th WIAA title, is now tied with Edgar, Lancaster, and Stratford as the only teams in WIAA history with 7 state football championships. Their .878 winning percentage in the playoffs is tops among Wisconsin teams with at least 30 postseason games. So sustained success, really a beautiful job done here by head coach Bob Hyland. He's been here since 1971, and he says he wants to keep on coaching, saying he would like to be here until 2024 when his youngest grandson will be a senior on the football team. So, you know, seems like one of those guys who just wants to keep on coaching forever, loves what he does, this community loves him, and you know, he's shaped not only football players in this community, but also a lot of young men, really impacting a lot of lives here. He's been here for so long, doing it the right way, teaching these guys the right things. Teamwork, leadership, being unselfish. As a nice play broken off there, a nice QB keeper there busted off by Cole Slark, as he is unafraid, the quarterback charging into the teeth of the defense. Not a lot of quarterbacks will do that, at least not traditional pocket guys, but these option QBs, they're not afraid to take a shot. Unable to pick it up though there, so that'll send on the punt unit here on 4th down. No, 4th down it's 6, and looks like, yes, they will elect to punt the ball. And looks like St. Mary's Springs is saying their base defense here. They're unsure, seemingly, about whether or not this is going to be a real punt. It is. High punt, going to land at about the 20. St. Mary's Springs players waving it off, yelling, "Poison, poison, don't touch it." And it'll be downed at about the 20-yard line. St. Mary's Springs heads back out there. Backup quarterback number 4, Braden King, is taken over for number 3, Mitch Wechter. Threw an interception there on his last drives, but we'll see if he can maybe get some more points on the board for St. Mary's Springs as the clock continues to tick down with 3:22 left in this game. 51-0 lead, just over 3.5 minutes left in the game here. As Braden King takes over the offense. Timeout called, and we'll take one along with the officials. I'm Nick Bodie for Radio Plus Sports. We'll be back in just a moment. This is high school football on Radio Plus.
Question: I want to get health insurance. What do I do? This is a common question that everyone will most undoubtedly ask at one point in his or her life. To find the answers, we looked at the average user's experience and came up with 4 tried and true, easy to follow steps. Step 1. Enter info into hundreds of websites. Step 2. Make numerous phone calls that ultimately get you nowhere. Step 3. Become insanely frustrated. Step 4. Try not to cry. Sound familiar? Like so many other Americans, this is what the average person is accustomed to. However, if you had called the Leb Insurance Group, where we genuinely listen to your needs, walk you through every step of the way, and offer options uniquely tailored to you, then you really didn't need to do steps 1 through 4. So, who is the Leb Insurance Group, you ask? Quite simply, we are a group of insurance enthusiasts that help you navigate through the complexities of the ever-changing landscape of healthcare plans. With that in mind, let's go back to the original question. I want to get health insurance. What do I do? Step 1, call the Leb Insurance Group. That's it. We will assign you a dedicated agent who will help you sift through all the confusing insurance lingo and offer options uniquely tailored to you. Even if you have questions later on, you can always call your dedicated agent. Best of all, it won't cost you extra to use our services, but it could cost you a fortune not to. The Leb Insurance Group. Healthcare simplified.
We welcome you back here on a balmy summer evening, first week of high school football here in the state of Wisconsin. From Fruth Memorial Field, I'm Nick Bodie for Radio Plus Sports, and here for a kickoff game between St. Mary's Springs, the defending champion Ledgers, currently up 51-0 on the Marcus Ann Hornets as the clock ticks down. About 2 minutes left here in the final quarter of this game. Beautiful execution done by St. Mary's Springs. They really came out, executed their game plan, really fluid, very mistake-free. Quarterback Mitch Wechter, number 9 Kate Christensen, the wide receiver, and of course, guys in the backfield, Marcus Orlandoni, Ezra Tucker, and Jake Hawk, absolutely getting it done for St. Mary's Springs out on the sideline, getting some much-deserved rest here as the backups for both teams finish the game. Number 4, Braden King, second-string quarterback in here for St. Mary's Springs. Springs' next game will be next Friday on the August 24th. They're going to be at Amherst High School. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff. And they start their season this year the same way they started their undefeated 14-0 championship season last year. They played, of course, Markesan first game of the year last year, won 35-0. Here, another even bigger blowout win to start this one off. And last year against Amherst High School, they played them in the second game in 2017, won that game. It was a tough one, and Coach Highland said he really thought the win against Amherst in week 2 of last season set the tone for their state title run. So we'll see if they're heading in for a repeat, if they're able to get another win against Amherst High School next week. Clock ticks down below a minute here. So this non-conference matchup all but over here between Markesan High School and St. Mary Springs. Both teams will head into their respected conferences where they are favored to win the conference. Markesan High School in the Trailway Large Conference. New coach John Dunleavy said one of his big goals is to win conference again. That's become something of a tradition at Markesan, which, make no mistake about it, really does have an excellent football program. I think the lopsided score here tonight doesn't say anything. It says more about how good St. Mary Springs is than how bad. Certainly don't underrate this Markesan team. They're very, very talented. They're going to be a tough opponent for people going on later this year. Certainly there are going to be some teams in their conference that might underestimate them, but they're going to pay for that. This is a really good Markesan team. There's no quit in them. They kept their heads held up high even when they were down a few scores, and they keep their heads held up high here now as the game closes out. Final score here from Fruth Memorial Field in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, 51-0. The defending state champion St. Mary Springs Ledgers eke out a big win here against the Markesan Hornets. First game for Coach John Dunleavy at Markesan is going to be a loss. As we said, next game for St. Mary Springs, as they are 1-0, they'll head to Amherst High School, 7 p.m. kickoff. It's going to be next Friday, the 24th. See if that can set the tone for this season. Good sportsmanship shown here by both teams, and that's what you love to see. Two of the classier coaches in the games, John Dunleavy and Bob Highland, going to go share a handshake and walk off. Both these teams fought very hard tonight. Really excellent teams, and they're going to be big forces to reckon with within both of their conferences. St. Mary Springs certainly would like to go for a repeat, see if they can win 4 out of 5 state championships at the Division VI level. Signing off for Radio Plus Sports, big shout out to our production team, all the guys out here working the cameras, making the magic happen in the booth. It's been a pleasure to come out here and narrate this game, and I'm so glad to have Friday Night Lights back, folks. High school football has returned. Be back for week 2 next Friday. I'm Nick Bodie, signing off from Fruth Memorial Field. This has been High School Football on Radio Plus Sports.
Come and grow with Burke. We are a company on the move and are looking for great people that want to grow with us. Hi, I'm Mike Phelan, President and CEO at Burke, a local company that creates quality and innovative playground equipment. Our team maintains a culture of enthusiasm, innovation, and customer service. We are currently looking for full-time first and third shift manufacturing employees. Burke offers a competitive wage and benefits package, on-the-job training, and a signing bonus. Learn more about our open positions at bciburke.com. That's BCIBURKE.com.
Everson and Gibbs LLC attorneys at law provide you with all your legal needs, from corporate, business planning, personal injury, estate planning, and family law. Contact Everson and Gibbs today at 920-922-7113 for all your legal needs.
If you're looking for a job where you play an important role in your company and work in a supportive team environment, join Spectrum today. As a customer service representative, you'll represent the nation's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice company and help bring Spectrum services to the communities we serve. We offer a competitive salary, best-in-class benefits, complimentary services, paid training, and excellent opportunities for growth and advancement. Interested? Go to jobs.spectrum.com today.
Quality service savings every day. That's what you've come to expect from us at FloorQuest, your flooring and cabinetry destination. We've always provided the best quality flooring and cabinetry for your home, and now our inspired cabinetry and flooring products are doing that more than ever before. Get inspired today and save. In stock, expanded selection, everyday low pricing, along with interior design help and professional installation means the best is in store for you at FloorQuest, Washburn Street in Oshkosh, Rolling Meadows Drive, Fond du Lac.